Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Joe Hunk. Just a little while ago, which you heard right here on 104.5 The Zone, the Brian Callahan era has begun, and he had a message for all Titans fans going into the 2024 season.
Really, to the Titans fans, the city of Nashville, and the great state of Tennessee, we're going to need your incredible support. You're a huge part of this. We need Nissan Stadium to be the most feared stadium that people walk into every Sunday. We need every possible bit of energy, every last amount of enthusiasm. Our players need to feel the energy.
And Kayshon Boutte is feeling the energy of the police because that man over the last 365 days has made over 8,900 wagers. And he was just arrested in Baton Rouge with that. Just for the math, that's 24 bets a day. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, as well as home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. What up, Nashville? Brent Doherty with you. Dawn Davenport is on assignment. She'll be here in just a little bit. Ron Slay is back from Charlotte in the SEC Network duties.
I'm in the building. Hey, I'm in the building. 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 I'm in the building.
I had a mouthful of food anyway. Right then, huh? And to everybody in the chat,
Well,
yes,
you're getting run in the chat,
I
man.
am, man. And listen, this is my problem, y'all. I'm telling you. Okay, let me tell you how it went.
Wait, on the front end. Is it a problem?
I mean,
You're enjoying life right now,
I'm
aren't
most
you?
definitely enjoying it. Yeah, this is.
Did you stay away from the voodoo donut?
I did.
Both times.
Yes.
Going and coming.
Yes, but coming back, I was about to, and I was like, man, I got to get back to the station for a meeting. So I had a meeting at 1:30, an interview that I had to do at 1:30.
Wait, interview?
Yeah. My flight landed at 12:55. No. This was for what's the WTN?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a show that they do on Sunday with Jennifer Sheets.
Oh.
Yep.
I saw that
interviewed
email come through, and then I completely forgot about it.
Yep.
I'm glad you did that. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's it. I couldn't think of it. Yeah, her and Kevin, man, so I had a good time doing that. But this is the thing. My flight got in at 12:45, y'all. That's what time it landed.
Oh.
I had to be there at 1:30.
Yeah, and traffic is...
It's stupid, and it's raining. Like, so I came out of the meeting. That was at 2:35, and I saw Hunk. I was like, dog, you want McDonald's? I got to eat something. I got me and Hunk McDonald's.
I'm glad you didn't reach out to me because I'd have said yes, too.
Let's see, I didn't see you. If I would have saw you, I would have told you, too.
That's all good, bro.
Hey, man. But you got to eat. And I got the crazy thing, I got my shake.
Yes,
I didn't have time.
That's true.
I didn't have time to stir my shake, so fast food was easier.
Oh, I thought you meant like a milkshake at McDonald's.
No, my little shake that gets on your nerves and be stirring.
Yeah.
The devil wins again, y'all. The devil wins again.
Yeah.
You damn devil, you.
I know. It happens a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, guess what? I'm going to beat him, though.
It's a fight out there in the street.
It is.
So Brian Callahan, head coach of the Tennessee Titans, met with the media today officially. He is the 20th head coach of the franchise in the franchise's history. He's 39 years old. And it all started with Rand Carthon at the podium. You know what Rand said that I loved?
What'd he say? What'd he say?
You know me. I love all these like motivational sayings. Like I got a little Butch Jones in me, I guess.
No, please, no.
Break my break, baby.
No, we don't want that. You don't want no Butch Jones.
Who he later said he got from John Gruden, which is funny.
Yeah.
And also Brian Callahan was in that quarterback's room growing up as a kid with John Gruden. No, Rand Carthon said this: hunting at the same time is not the same thing as hunting together. We're gonna hunt together.
There you go. And see, you know what? I think it got so skewed when Rand first came in about saying collaboration. You know what I'm saying? But when you have a person that is at the helm,
what are you
like
going to say, though?
was exactly.
Vrabel ran it. Like, he was such a strong personality, and he was like the cool guy in the room, and he was like, you can't tell me nothing.
Bingo.
Which is fine. Lots of coaches win that way.
Yep, they do.
But that explains why he came in kind of slow-footed, at least publicly.
And when I think when you say collaboration, I think it means collaborate as a team. Like, we're going to make this. We're going to sit down at the table.
Collaborate and
your
listen.
piece, his piece, my piece, Holmes' piece, Babsy piece.
Everybody's
and then come
piece.
together. Everybody piece.
Yeah.
Everybody get a piece
Yeah.
of nuggets.
Nuggies.
I got a 10-piece.
See? You got 2 left?
No, I have a 10-piece, and I'm about to devour them.
You should have been there. You don't.
He said it was a thorough process, Rand Carthon said. He said, we saw the best in each candidate. That process led us to Cali.
Ooh.
Immediately going nickname. He's like, I'm not going to call him Brian Callahan. We call him Cali.
I like that because I was going to ask him when he came on the Boom Boom Room, dude, you got to have, ain't nobody got time to be saying your whole name because the first thing I think of is Big Tom Callahan from Fat Guy in a Little Coat. I forgot the name of that movie, man.
Tommy Boy?
Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first thing I think of. So.
Shame.
Amy Adams Strunk said that Brian Callahan exceeded all of our expectations. He and Rand had a clear connection. She said they just started talking ball immediately.
Love it.
And she just kind of got out of the way.
Because she don't want to be in the way anyway.
She just wants to observe that.
Yeah.
I think she literally wants to see body language and how they interact like that.
Tell me when to come to the podium. That's it. To raise the trophy.
Then you know what else she said?
What?
She said what you said on Monday.
What?
We didn't want to let him leave the building.
Dude, lock the door! We're going to lock him away today, too. That's right.
Brian Callahan will join us at 5 o'clock. So we'll do a live conversation with him at that point, learn a little bit more about him. He said this is a surreal moment for me. He said he had an immediate connection with Rand, Amy, Burke, and others. The relationships just felt right. The energy felt right. He said he had an instant connection with Rand in terms of building the roster as well as the culture in the building. He said he wants to establish a high culture with clear communication. Everybody's going to know what their job is and do it to the best of their ability. He was asked today in the press conference about the offensive line issues. And he said it's so much more than that. He said a lot of times it comes down to, hey, you got to win your one-on-one battle. He said, but protection is a holistic offensive issue.
Hey.
He said the quarterback's got to get the ball out. The receivers have to beat their coverage. And the offensive line obviously has to do their thing. He said it's an everybody thing. Asked, what do you want your team to be? He said 2 things, resilient and relentless. Resiliency with the ups and downs and flows that come with life and football and everything.
We just talked to Shay Ralph about that.
Yep, and your ability to be relentless no matter what's going on.
That's good. That drink is too. But that's right. That right there. That's what you want. You're like, you know what I'm saying? Be able to get through and evolve and be able to counter and change the course in the middle of this downpour of rain, man. You can go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. That's what you're gonna get out of this team. I like it. I like it so far.
And then these the press conference, and then our conversation with him will be a lot more about getting to know Brian Callahan.
Yeah.
Because, and it happened in the press conference today, and it's going to. You have to ask these questions. But what does he really know about what his offense is going to look like? What his defense is going to look like? He has to dive into the roster. They're going to change this roster a whole lot. But he said, defensively, a lot of it is multiple stuff because he was asked, is it going to be a 3-4? And he said, I love this answer. He said, I want the kind of defense that gives me issues as an offensive game planner.
There you go.
About his offense, he said high percentage of completions, route definition, physical run game. And then I like this. He started to talk about balance. You know how coaches love it. We got to be balanced on offense.
Yeah.
And everybody's looking for the 50-50 yardage split and all that stuff. He's like, balance is nice. He said, but every Sunday it takes something different to win a game.
Yes. Yeah.
So whatever you have to do to win that game, maybe you're not running the ball well.
You may play 3 teams in a row that
maybe you
let us
dive
pass.
into the pass game a lot more. He said so.
I like that.
Anyway, impressive guy, I thought. Coming up today, Greg Cosell. We'll talk about Brian Callahan as a quarterback coach, as an offensive coordinator, and now as a head coach here at the Tennessee Titans. He'll also break down the AFC Championship game and the NFC Championship game. Greg Cosell, the best film evaluator in football. Big Savagery, Ramone Foster at 4:20. Titans head football coach Brian Callahan again at 5 o'clock, and we will probably keep him long.
He's going in the boom boom room, too.
He's going in the boom boom room. And at 5:30, I wonder if he's been warned.
He better have. He better have.
Because I'll let you into something. So when we get players on, we use one guy over there. That helps us with that. When it's like coach or executive level, it's another guy.
Oh.
So I don't know if Robbie is in tune with warning people about the boom boom
I
room.
hope so, because he come in here and get locked away, then he'll never coach this team.
Also coming up at 5:30, we'll dive into that Lamar versus Mahomes matchup coming up in the AFC Championship game. Tracy Wolfson will be on the sidelines. She'll be with us at 5:30. So that's coming up today. We appreciate you being with us. It's Titans heavy, that's for sure. Greg Cosell next on 3HL.
What's happening? People, Ron Slay here, man. Don't you get tired of calling companies and not getting a response? Well, that doesn't happen with Milliken. Nah, Milliken Corp, normal concrete companies probably, they're going to provide top-notch customer service. Maybe. But Milliken Corp is guaranteed to. You call these companies in weeks before getting a response, that's never going to happen in Milliken. When you give them a call, you speak to someone directly, and the expert call returns within 24 hours. Typically, your project can be started within a 4-week window. So while you're thinking it's rainy and it's cold out, I can't get nothing done, I want to get that back deck done, man. I want it to be concreted out, ready to get ready for the spring. No, you don't need to wait for that. Why wait for that when you can enjoy it now? Yes, they add to it right now and get busy. Backyard renovations, whatever it may be. Experts in concrete, asphalt, grading, drainage services. You know my motto, man. It ain't your fault if you choose the wrong asphalt. That's why I'm going to choose Milliken Corp every time. 615-238-5909. Get on top of it now. Head to millikencorp.com.
There's a line in this song. This is Young MC. There's a line.
Mm-hmm.
There's a line in this song. The song's title is "I Come Off," and he says, "I come off like clothes on a hooker."
I mean, hey, somebody gotta get their clothes off, yo. A lot of people do.
Like back in the alley, back in the day.
Hey, we was just in the alley.
Who was?
I mean, metaphorically speaking, on like what day was that? Tuesday, I think. I was talking about going down the dark alley. Remember?
Oh yeah, you are.
Mm-hmm.
See weird things down there, depending on where you are.
Hey man, well,
Titans head coach Brian Callahan will join us at 5 o'clock unless he heard the last 2 minutes.
Right.
Then we may have to wait on that one.
Oh, guess what? I got good news for our next guest.
Should we bring him on so you can tell him?
Yeah.
Was that an announcement?
I think.
Well, when he started saying, I just went ahead and clicked it because I knew it was about to say something.
Yeah.
Greg Cosell joins us now from the NFL Network, among other things. Greg, what's up? How are you?
I'm doing great, Brent. How are you?
I guess Slay has some positive news, good news for you.
I do, Cosell. They just asked me last night, Cosell, am I sure I want to do the SEC tournament? So that's one step in the right direction to get my guy in there. Yeah, that's all.
Cosell wants to come to the
So-
SEC tournament. I forgot.
Well, I can just be your bodyguard then.
That's right. We're going to make it happen. I promise you're going to have good seats, Cosell. I can guarantee you. You're going to prepare to come on down here.
I can be your one-person entourage.
There we go. That's all I need.
There we go.
It's gonna be a good
I'm good.
tournament.
I'm good.
All right, cool.
So what do you know, Cosell, about new Titans coach Brian Callahan, obviously coming over from Cincinnati?
Well, I mean, I don't know him personally, but I think a couple of things that are important here to me, anyway. Number one, you have to remember that, and we've talked about this. I've told you that the key thing here is to make Will Levis the best player he can possibly be. That is the number one priority in the building, in my view, anyway. So keep in mind where Brian Callahan just was. He was in with Zach Taylor for the last 4 years. Where did Zach Taylor come from? Zach Taylor came from the Rams. So Zach Taylor's essentially running much of the Rams offense in terms of terminology, methodology, all those things that are really important in terms of learning and then executing. And when did Will Levis have his best year in college football? He had his best year in college football under Liam Cohen, who also ran that same offense. So now Will Levis gets a new head coach, but doesn't have to learn a brand new offense, something that he's totally unfamiliar with. This is something he's familiar with. So he's getting, in a sense, a head start with a new coach.
Boy, it sure sounds like it makes sense for Liam Cohen to be on this staff too, Cosell.
No, I mean, again, I don't know the staff. Nobody's been announced, right? As far as the staff.
No. Yeah, I'm just messing with you, but it would make sense. I mean, schematically.
I just think it's a good thing because one of the things with quarterbacks, and I don't think this is talked about enough, is when you change coaches and change offensive systems, that's not an easy thing. Think of it this way. Think that if you're studying French for 3 years, that's what you're doing. You're just talking French, and then all of a sudden someone comes in and says, "Hey, we're going to do a lot of the same stuff, but now you have to do it all in Spanish." There's a learning curve.
Just gave me
you
anxiety.
Understand the concepts, but you're not exactly sure how to get them out and how to execute them in the new way. So now you're dealing with Will Levis understanding the verbiage, the methodology, everything that's involved. Essentially, is going to be things he knows.
That's really interesting because last year was his third different offense in 3 seasons. And so now if he can go back to some of those Liam Cohen concepts, they become more familiar. He was in the building today when Brian Callahan got there, so they did have a chance to talk and meet. And
Yeah, so I mean, to me, that's important. Again, I'm not sitting here telling you, and I don't want people listening to think that means that Will Levis is going to be an all-pro quarterback this year. That's not my point. But the point is there's a comfort level now that he's ahead of the game because he knows this. Now there's always tweaks. There's always, minor variations, but at least it's something that he has been familiar with and executed at a high level at the college level.
Greg Cosell with us. NFL matchup coming up. They're going to break down the 2 championship games. We'll do that with Cosell in just a second.
Cosell, what did you think about the usage of T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase in that system up there in Cincinnati without having the offensive line, top tier offensive line? What was your breakdown of that, the usage of them? Were you?
Well, Boyd was almost always, not 100%, almost always in the slot slate.
Okay.
Higgins and Chase were moved around a bit. Chase was more often than not what we call the boundary X. He lined up as the single receiver to the short side of the field, the boundary side, and that would be trips on the other side to the field, 3 receivers. That's another thing to keep in mind. What he's used to, Brian Callahan, is a high percentage of what we call 11 personnel, meaning 1 back, 1 tight end, and 3 wide receivers. So that's what he's used to. That's essentially what the Bengals did. So we'll see. I think that's probably the way he wants to play. Now, again, your personnel dictates a lot as well, but I think that's the way he would like to play.
And that's what I was going to say. Were those guys normally in those spots, or did they develop and adjust to those spots, like being moved around like Chase and Higgins and Boyd primarily in the slot?
No, I think one thing you do as a coach is you're teaching your receivers how to play all the positions.
Okay.
You'd like to be able to have receivers who can do that. That's not, again, as easy as people might think. Oh, you just line up here. No,
Right.
It changes. When you change the splits of receivers and receiver location within your offense, that changes how they run routes. That changes what they see as they start running their routes. I mean, all these things have to be practiced.
What did you notice in the transition from Joe Burrow to Jake Browning? Did you notice anything? Because they kept winning.
Yeah, but I did notice that Joe Burrow was better, by the way.
Well, true. Thanks, Cosell. See ya.
No, I mean, that's a hard question for me to answer because I wasn't studying it,
Yeah.
thinking of what are they doing now, what did they do with Buddy? I was thinking of what they're doing with Browning because he was playing. And that's a hard question for me to answer. So I don't want to make up an answer.
No.
Burrow is obviously a great quarterback. I mean, I think Burrow is a phenomenal quarterback. I love the way in which he plays the position. I loved him right when he came out of LSU. I thought the only thing that he was lacking, and it's not something you have to have, was a power arm. Everything else, I thought he was a top line prospect, and he's proven to be that in the NFL.
Right. I was just curious. I didn't know if you would go down that path.
No, that's fine.
I was just curious.
I don't know something
because
I'm not going to make up an answer.
No, but those are 2 very different quarterbacks, and I thought it was interesting that they were able to get success out of Jake Browning also, just in terms of quarterback teaching, coaching, development, all those things. So
yeah, and I think that speaks, to the system, to the coaching, to how the preparation through game planning. I mean, I think that all that factors in, which, by the way, guys, is one reason I am always so leery. And of course, you see this on social media all the time. I will not talk about play calls and game planning because you have to be part of the process to know that. It's easy to say, to rip game planning when a team's not moving the ball particularly well. Keep in mind the coaches spent a ton of time doing that. It doesn't work all the time. I mean, that's the nature of sports. Slay, you can speak to this. When you play sports and you're playing against quality people, that's the way it is. Sometimes you win, sometimes they get the better of you. That's just the way sports is.
Right.
Yeah. I thought he had an interesting answer too today. He was asked about balance, and he's like, "Yeah, I mean, coaches like to talk about balance, and sure, that's something that you try to attain." He said, "But the goal on Sunday is to win." And so that looks differently from game to game, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting conceptually.
You start with a philosophy, okay? You don't just go in randomly and say, hey, let's just mess around with this today. You have a philosophy. But part of that philosophy is that we can be malleable. We are going to play. The goal, there's only 17 games. The goal is to win every weekend. Obviously nobody wins every weekend, but that's the goal. And by the way, no coach, no matter what the roster looks like, goes in, contrary to what fans might think, and thinks, you know what, this is a rebuilding year. I don't care if we lose 12 games. No coach. Right now, Brian Callahan's thinking, you know what? When the schedule comes out, we're going to win all 17 games. Yeah. That's the way he's going to think. Now, we know that's not going to happen, but that's the way he's going to think. So the goal is to win every week. So that might mean in a given week, you know what? The opponent we're facing, we spot a weakness on their defense in a certain area. So that means we're going to run the ball this week a little more. We may spot a weakness the next week, and that means that we're going to throw the ball 75% of the time. You know, you're trying to win every single week, and you'd like to believe the way you structure your offense or your defense, whatever side of the ball you're speaking about, that you can play in multiple ways. Teams that are usually here, you know, we have 4 teams left, obviously. Normally, teams that get to this point can beat you in multiple ways. They don't just have to play one way.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, Cosell, tell me about I will, because it's been word, you know, that maybe he brings his father in and try to get some involved in the staff. What's his strength? Is it just offensive line, and what have you liked from
Bill
watching
Callahan?
him?
Yeah, Bill Callahan.
Well, here's the story for you guys. So it's 1996. Ray Rhodes was the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. It might have been Jeffrey Lurie's first season as owner. So Ray Rhodes brings in on his staff Bill Callahan, John Gruden, and Sean Payton. Now, this is 1996. So I get a call from the Eagles that those guys would like to visit NFL Films. So I actually gave a tour in 1996 to Callahan, Payton, and John Gruden of NFL Films in 1996. So that's when I met those guys for the first time.
Wow.
Now, Callahan is one of the best O-line coaches in the game. My guess is he's very active in game planning as well. That would be my guess. I'm not there, so I don't want to say that as if it's, you know, a mathematical equation, but he's been doing this a very long time.
Yep.
He's considered one of the best ever. I guarantee he's involved in how you put together and structure a game plan. That would be an amazing get if they were able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he's been coaching longer than Brian Callahan's been alive.
Right.
So
I also found out today when I had to go to the dentist, unfortunately, to get some work done. And if I'm, you know, I might be drooling here, but anyway, that my dentist actually, that Bill Callahan went to my dentist, and he met Brian Callahan when Brian Callahan was 10 years old, because Brian Callahan was his patient.
Oh man, that's
separation,
funny.
though.
Yeah.
What a small world. Isn't that crazy?
Dude, especially, I'm telling you, especially in sports, like it gets even smaller. Yeah. It's crazy.
Because I've been going to my dentist for 25 years. So, like, you know, we're friends as well as he's my dentist. And he was, you know, so, you know, he obviously knows what I do because we've been friends, you know. So he told me that story today when I was, you know, in his chair with my mouth open, you know, and I couldn't respond. You know, I'm sitting there like an idiot while he's talking. You know how that goes when you're sitting in the dentist chair.
I know everybody wants to talk to you.
Monday,
Yeah, I just put headphones in. I'm like, give me the gas. See you later.
Right.
See you later. I don't care what you're doing. Greg Cosell, executive producer and analyst for NFL Matchup with Darius Butler, and Sal Powell, senior producer NFL Films for more than 44 years. That is a fantastic show. Also, check it out. AFC Championship game coming up. 2 o'clock on CBS. By the way, Tracy Wolfson will join us at 5:30, and we'll talk more about that. But Chiefs at Ravens. Cosell, what do you see in this matchup? We get Lamar and we get Mahomes going at it.
That's pretty good stuff right there. I'm so excited about these games. You know, there's so many elements to this. You know, we could talk for 2 hours on this, but I'm really curious to see both defenses, how they choose to play against the opposing offense, because, you know, Lamar has played at a really high level this year. I personally think the designed quarterback run game will be a more meaningful factor in their offense this week than they have had for much of the season. Because I think they're going to try to calm down Spags and what he does with pressures. And when the quarterback becomes a runner, you have to be a little more careful, and you have to be really assignment sound. So I think that's going to be a factor. And I will say this, with Lamar, it's not about the numbers. You know, he's not necessarily, you watch him every week. It's not like he's 30 for 40 for 380 yards. But the numbers don't matter. It's the manner in which he plays and the stress that puts on the defense and the challenges that presents. Mahomes in the two playoff games has kind of been back to being what we know of Mahomes, but they've got that added element with that run game, because Pacheco is an angry, competitive, urgent runner. And as I said about Derrick Henry for years, Pacheco is the kind of guy, if it's blocked for 3, he gets 8. And that doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal.
Now, this is the thing, Cosell. When you look at a guy like Pacheco, where is he great? Is he great as far as hitting the holes? Like, I understand being an angry runner, but so and the reason I ask this is because when I go back and watch Tajay Spears, he does a lot of that, being kind of like getting lost in the hole and then popping out and boom, and he's gone. You know what I'm saying? Is that the same?
Well, that's different. Pacheco is more of a just hit it hard downhill. He's probably 215 pounds, and he plays like he's 250. Really plays like he's 225.
Yeah.
But he is that's why they run a lot of gap scheme where they pull the guards, and he just sort of, and the hole becomes more defined, so he can just hit it downhill. He's not a dancer. He's a guy that just wants to see it and go. And he's got tremendous natural power.
Right.
And he's very difficult to bring down. He's a great finisher.
No wonder he runs like that then, because I thought he was a little small. I don't know why I thought he was smaller, but man, that makes a lot of sense the way he run behind his pad.
Well, he's aggressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's an angry man when he runs.
That's a good way to describe it.
He's
right
an
there.
angry man.
And by the way, he ran a 4.38 at the combine. So, I mean, he's not just a physical inside runner. He's got some juice to him.
Wow.
And more to your point, like, it's amazing to me to watch this Kansas City Chiefs offense this year and how different it is than in years past. And then here they sit, 6 consecutive years in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah. And they were a little different this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you're being fair, and by the way, I would never pick against Patrick Mahomes in any of these games. I don't pick games in that sense. I'm just making that as a general comment. He's a phenomenal quarterback. We saw how well he played last week. Last week against the Bills, they only ran 47 offensive plays, which is a ridiculously small amount in an NFL game. But they averaged almost 8 yards per play, and they had 8 plays of 20-plus yards. So, I mean, I would never count out Mahomes in any of these games. But the point is they were a little different this year overall as a team. You could almost make the argument that this year they were driven more by their defense, which doesn't get enough credit under Steve Spagnuolo because Mahomes is Mahomes. And also the run game with Pacheco became a huge factor for them. So they're a more complete team with a quarterback that can be absolutely brilliant and special, anytime, because that's who he is.
I totally opinionated answer right here, Cosell. I've learned my lesson. I always bet with Mahomes. Last week was the first time ever betting against him.
You kept saying don't bet against Mahomes.
I kept saying it.
And then you did it.
I did it. And I lost. But what is it about the lights and the magic? Is it the experience with Mahomes? Like, what is it about him in these damn playoffs, Cosell, that makes you not bet against him, though? Like, this dude is different.
Mahomes
like, he's on the road now doing it.
Mahomes is a fascinating guy, Slay. I mean, he's a great thrower of the football. He can kill you from the pocket. But he has such an ability. The way I might describe it, and I actually did a piece on him this week in the matchup show, and the way I described it was that he has this ability to function intelligently and athletically amidst a lot of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And now a lot of guys can't do that. He never looks frenetic. He never looks chaotic. Sometimes he even creates his own chaos by moving when he doesn't have to, but then he navigates it and makes unbelievable plays. He just has a very unique ability that you can't really teach that. You wouldn't teach someone when, if you're a quarterback coach, teaching a quarterback saying, you know what, I want you to run around and see what happens. But he just has a knack that it's innate. It's in his DNA. His vision is phenomenal when he does that. It's just that's one of the things that makes him so unique and makes him what he is.
It looks like somebody told Caleb Williams to do that, though, this year. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, he's a little more reckless, though. At this point,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Let's hit this NFC game real quick. Man, the Lions are such a great story. What do you see from them? Pretty healthy underdog against the 49ers at home. What's going on in that one?
Yeah, the Lions are a fun team to watch on both sides of the ball. I mean, on offense, they run play action more than any team in the league, and they run under center play action. And Goff is phenomenal at it. and they throw the ball between the numbers more than any team in the league. They've got 2 running backs. They're totally different. Gibbs is an absolute weapon. He's an explosive athlete. Amon St. Brown is their motion receiver. He's a great player as well. Defensively, I really love what Aaron Glenn does. I mean, they have issues at corner, and they can be beatable any week due to the corner position. But I think what he does with his multiple front looks and his pressures, using his secondary players, is really high level stuff. So, but they can be beat on the outside.
Good stuff. Check out the NFL matchup. It's a great show. I watch Saturday mornings at 7:30 Central. Thank you, Greg. Good stuff, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much.
Yep.
Bodyguard for Slay.
Hey, yeah, I'm gonna have him in there. Hey, Cosell ain't no little dude.
No.
And he looked like
played
he probably,
basketball.
Yeah, he looked like he probably know like some backroom tricks. Like, you know how to grab a bottle and break it on your head or something?
Yeah, he grew up in New York.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to tell you. Like, grab a cue ball, hit somebody with it or something. Like,
Cue ball.
You're saying he's a brawler.
Yeah, like you know these kind of tricks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get like a little bit of a slump walk a little bit.
This is where my brain goes. You brought up the cue ball. You know where my brain immediately went?
Well,
Boomerang.
I mean, there you
Martin
go.
Lawrence's
There you
little-
go. Yeah, when they were telling the story. Yeah.
All right, more on Brian Callahan as he met with the media today. Hear from him next, 3HL. Again, Brian Callahan, coach of the Titans, will join us live at 5 o'clock. Make sure you tune in then, but more from Callahan when we come back, 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
All right, great news. Those mortgage rates have come down quite a bit. So maybe you are stuck with a crappy mortgage rate from last year. Call my friends at Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. They are helping folks take advantage of fixed rates with APRs in the 5s right now. Go ahead and switch out that mortgage rate for a much better payment right now. Loan Pronto can do it fast. They can do it with no appraisal, and they can do it with no closing costs. And here's the beautiful part. Loan Pronto has simplified the entire process, which means you can start the entire process at loanpronto.com. Doesn't take a ton of paperwork. I know because I refinanced with Loan Pronto. They're awesome. Maybe you are looking for that new home, and now that the rates have come down, you're going to buy. Loan Pronto can and will beat anyone else's rate. That's the beauty of what they do with, of course, like I said, no closing costs. So don't wait for the rates to go back up. Seize the moment. Snag a great rate for your new home purchase, a full refi, or maybe just get some cash out of your equity. LoanPronto.com, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780. Loan Pronto Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Titans coach Callie.
I like it.
LL Cool J
Coach
is hard as hell.
I like that nickname.
I know Rand today in the press conference, he's like, I'm not going to call him Brian Callahan. We're just call him Callie. He took one of your questions away from the Boom Boom Room.
Who?
Rand.
What did he say?
Your nickname. His nickname.
You were going to ask what his
I
nickname
was going to ask him that. Yeah, come on, Rand.
Because you said we can't just run around here calling you Brian Callahan.
Next time I talk to Rand personally, man, like, listen, dog, if we're going to collaborate on this thing, you got to let me ask the things that I'm supposed to ask, and you do your job.
Yeah,
man.
stay in your lane,
Yeah,
Rand.
Well, it is all about
job.
collaboration.
Yeah, it's collaboration.
Yeah,
That's right.
like
All
this-
about collaboration.
Yeah, that wasn't collaborating when you just take over for me.
Collaborate and listen.
Hey, back with it. This will it ever stop? No.
Don Davenport is here.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Babsy!
Good to see you guys.
She was on assignment. I hope that assignment went okay.
I was, I'll go ahead and tell her. I mean, it's
like
not
when
like
she
we have
does
any
that.
secrets around here.
It's a disaster.
Yes, I was, what a mess. I was on assignment
That's what her
because
child
the
does.
Hubs had to have a medical dental procedure.
Oh, Lord.
The recovery is not going well.
Oh,
Then you
I was
need
planning on being here on time, so I had to wait for his parents to get to the home to overtake
Becky.
caretaking of Mr. Babs.
By the way, Mr. Babs' parents listen all the time. So, hey, guys. Jeez, Becky.
Yeah,
His dad always
it's
says.
not G's either.
No, it's something else. What you got?
Falcons look like they may have got there, man.
Who?
Defensive coordinator Raheem Morris of the Rams.
Raheem
Falcons
Morris to the
plan
Falcons.
to hire Rams.
They literally said, "No, you're not good
Adam
head
Schefter.
coach now." And then they hire his replacement. Then when they fired his replacement, they hired him as the head coach.
Well, there you have it.
Wow.
I can't even follow all of what you just said, but
Raheem Morris was the interim head coach back in 2020, and then when he interviewed for the job, he didn't get it. Obviously, we know who
Art
got
got
the
it.
head coach. Yes,
Yeah.
They fired him, and now Morris is the head coach again.
Circle back around.
Yeah.
hey, man. That's like what Coach Mack used to say about to his defense when he was playing Barry Sanders. Just stay here. It'll come back around to you. Carolina Panthers have hired Buccaneers offensive coordinator Dave Canales as head coach.
Hey, job's filling up.
Where's Belichick in all this?
Sleep
Think so?
with a hoodie on.
You know, we were talking about David Shaw. What you got?
Nah, this is just Ekebop. Ekebop's doing the interview
Who's Ekebop interviewing?
himself.
Oh.
Here's my boy.
Probably a
All right.
25-minute long video for two questions.
I talked with someone who knows David Shaw today and
How'd they go?
didn't think that his personality would mesh well with Will Levis's personality.
Really?
That they're really not that he's a bad guy or anything. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
They just have very different personalities. One's a little more buttoned up and
One's a little bit
measured.
more.
Oh, Levis ain't measured. He is emotional
Yeah.
Right.
Cowboy.
I'm not saying he
and
won't.
passionate and ultra competitive.
Listen,
He's a
I'm not
cowboy.
saying David Shaw won't end up on that staff. He had 2 interviews. Like,
But you're talking
but
as like OC or
I don't know. I'm just saying that's interesting information, though.
No, that is interesting.
Amy Adams Strunk today.
I can see them not being extremely different.
I
Yes.
love what Amy Adams Strunk said. She said basically like that Rand and Callie got along so well and just started talking ball that she basically got out of the way.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to move.
And they do
The
have
chemistry was so evident right off the bat.
Yep.
Basically, is what she said.
Yeah, and she brought up something that was interesting that they have a familial common ground.
With
Personal note, I knew that we both shared the connection of having fathers who passed down their love of football to their children. And after all that research and the reviews of people whose lives and careers he has impacted so deeply, then we got to meet Brian. He exceeded all of our expectations. It was clear how the meeting quickly shifted from your standard interview to a player breakdown session that he and Rand had a very special chemistry between them.
Guys talking ball.
Sometimes you can just feel that. I'm a big body language guy, so I totally get what she's saying there.
So you know what else? I wish I could be a fly on that wall. I wonder if it was you got two new young guys that are embarking on a mission that neither one have been on, and is so eager to get into it and share ideas. I think that chemistry would come out.
That's an interesting point.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm
that
saying?
they're both excited about the
yeah,
moment.
like super.
And
so
fresh.
so they can kind of
not
share.
scarred
Exactly.
and not bitter
Because you
yet.
don't know what you don't know. Like, you got to go through it.
Yeah.
Like, of course, you can watch from afar, but you're in it now.
That's a really interesting point.
That's what I...
Yeah. So they can share that common ground. They're kind of like the Wonder Twins. They're different, but Wonder Twin power, and they're ready to change the world.
Who was the one?
And save the world. Super Friends back in the day.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Come on. Shape of water, form of ice bucket or whatever.
They got
No.
stolen. Babs don't
What?
remember. I think it was
No idea what
Fantastic
you're talking
Four or
about.
something.
People know. No, I'm telling you. I'm looking it up during the break. Wonder Twin powers.
No, I remember Fantastic Four. That one might be a little older, Wonder Powers.
Oh, it's older. It's older, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Super Friends in the Hall of Justice. And now back at the Hall of Justice.
I remember that part.
Yeah, they
That was them?
were in there with Aquaman and Wonder Woman and all of them.
I'm sorry. Are you saying that Rand and Brian are the super twins?
Wonder
Twins?
Wonder Twins.
Here we go.
I'm sorry. Are you saying the super Twins?
Okay, Slade, there's a question for you to replace the one about his nickname.
Okay, where is it?
About the Super Twins.
No.
It's the Wonder Twins.
Wonder Twins.
No.
Brian Callahan ain't going to know that. He's too young.
Yeah, he's way too young.
Yeah, he probably was. He
I
barely
don't
got-
know it.
Did were you in the He-Man era?
She.
Yeah, She-Ra?
She-Ra?
Yeah, She-Ra
Yes.
was a spinoff of it. Yeah.
It was right before that.
Yeah,
Or
so
right in it.
I probably was just born right around there.
All right.
Yo.
Your reaction. Brian Callahan met with the media today. You'll hear more from him next. 3HL 1045.
Okay, guys, listen up. It is January 25th. And do you know what that means? Oh, yes. It means that February, that day, that whole Valentine's Day thing is right around the corner. You want to make sure that you're ready for it. You can be ready for it with A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. And here is the beautiful part of A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. You can get a gift card. You can choose your budget. You can spend a little. You can go lavish and give it to your significant other. And then they can choose from 10 different services all under one roof at A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. So maybe they don't like massages, but they also do manicures and pedicures there, and sunless tanning, waxing, facials, hair salon. They do makeup there, you name it. You can get it done all in one place at A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. Gift cards can be printed directly from their website, or they can wrap them up for a beautiful presentation, pair it with another gift like a candle or anything from their gift boutique. Go let A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa help you out for Valentine's Day. Gift cards at their website all day, every day. amomentspeace.com. Call them at 615-224-0770 if you have a special request, or just go stop by. Let them come up with something cool for Valentine's Day. The intersection of Carruthers Parkway and Bakers Bridge Avenue in Cool Springs. That's A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa.
Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Joe Hogg. Brian Callahan had his introductory press conference earlier today, and obviously with the new head coach, the question popped up, since he's been named head coach, has he talked to QB1?
I have. I called Will I don't even know what day it is anymore, but I called Will a few days ago after I got the job, and then I saw him here today. He was working out, so I got a chance to catch up with him. I told him he's leaving town, I think, tomorrow morning, but he'll be back. But I've really enjoyed getting to know him. I can't wait to get to work with him. He's got a lot of really special physical talents that I'm excited to go see if we can make better. And everything about him so far has been fantastic, and I'm excited to get to go further down into it.
And the Falcons have a brand new head coach. Raheem Morris was just named that just a few moments ago. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for the Tennessee Titans, as well as home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. What up, Nashville? Brent Doherty with you on the Zone on a cloudy, rainy Thursday. Hope you're having a great day. It is a beautiful day in the Music City, right, Dawn Davenport?
Yes, because your feet hit the ground.
That's right.
Or something.
That's right, Matthew. Wonder Twin Towers activate.
There you go.
I showed Slay what I was talking about during the break.
And I do remember them. I never watched them, though.
Because they're weak.
And very.
I don't know how they saved anybody.
Yeah, they have no real superhero power.
The clip we saw was two teenage boys have stolen a plane and are joyriding. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah,
Number one. Number two, it was like form of an eagle and shape of a bucket of water. Slay Dog, what's up? How are you?
I'm in the building.
I'm in the building. Best believe
How was
I'm in the
basketball?
building. Better be ready.
You called that Alabama thing.
Man, I'm telling you. Tough, man.
It's all about matchups, and the SEC is tough, man.
And the road games, dog, it was rocking.
We've seen Alabama take down top 10 Auburn. We've seen South Carolina take down easily Kentucky.
Yeah, did you see my boy who missed his third free throw? He tweeted, "I owe you one, Auburn."
But that's the thing. Baker
he was
Mazar.
affected.
Yeah, so, like, dude, it's okay. It's a game, dog.
It's okay.
Like,
Down 3 with 12 seconds left. He's fouled shooting a 3.
yeah.
Like, you shouldn't let it get to that point, period.
No, the referee shouldn't have let it get to that point because there wasn't no foul. But
kicked
since
out
he
and-
kicked the leg, did the
Anyway.
swan dive. Like, come on, dog.
It
Ball
always
don't
looks
lie.
like, and maybe you could explain this better, obviously having played the sport professionally at a high level at the University of Tennessee as the SEC Player of the Year in 2003. But it always seems like in that moment, like when you get 3 to try to tie 3 free throws, try to tie late, that the first one is the toughest
You got to make
one.
that first one.
And it looked like his body language on the first one was like, please go in. And it did.
Nailed it.
And then the second one was fine,
Yep.
and he missed the third one.
Yep. And I ain't gonna say that cost him. That didn't cost him. I thought Alabama just played well. They had some guys
They
show
did.
up that ain't usually showing up. They
Sears
play
can get to
comfortable
the
at home.
basket, man.
Play comfortable at home, man.
Yep. Big Savagery, Ramone Foster joins us right now. Ramone, what's up? How are you?
Savage.
I would say nothing, but a lot is up, okay? a lot is up, man. How y'all doing?
I think Titans' morale from the fan base is up after that press conference. What do you think?
Yeah, it is, and it should be. That was a lot of good stuff. I will not front whatsoever. That was a lot of good stuff. And I was excited for him. It was a lot of emotions, just of appreciation. It wasn't like, oh, yeah, look at him. No, it was, you can tell somebody is excited to be on the job, and I'm glad for that.
Yeah, no doubt.
So what was your overall takeaway from what he had to say from a football standpoint?
I think he know what he has. I know what work. I think he realizes what work he has to do also.
Yeah.
And how he's going to have to approach it. Just, in the update right there, speaking about Will Levis, like he's like, oh, well, he's got a lot of good natural talent, and I got to see if we can make that better. He didn't, just come out and blatantly say, oh, we're going to make this better. He got to see if we're going to make this better. So I was just excited to hear him be real about what a process is going to look like. And it ain't no way versus the other, but or a first-time head coach, it's never easy to go into a situation like this. But there's a lot of backing behind him, and it seems like a lot of understanding of what his job and goals are here in Nashville. He actually started saying today stuff like bringing a championship to the city, and you almost felt like, okay, this is it seems real for him to say that type of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Big Savage, man, you played in the division that he was in the AFC North.
Woo.
What?
Which way you going with it, Savage?
What?
I had a
Nothing, go.
I had a little chair malfunction. That's it.
Mayor
no.
just
And you
fell
just
out,
stopped.
His
almost
face
fell.
was like, oh, I didn't see it. I'm like, what did I say wrong? I thought I said a bad
you're
word.
good.
Hey,
You played.
Remember when you were riding a bike back in the day and like you would pop a wheelie?
Yeah.
Or you would do, they call it endo, where you
Yeah.
would lift up the back seat. That's what just happened with my chair.
all right,
and then
all right.
it came back
Y'all
and hit the
scared
ground.
the mess out of me, dog. I'm like, dang, dude.
You
I
just
know-
totally
You
stopped.
thought you
Yeah.
worried that you were going back.
I thought I
Well,
said a
and
bad
then
word.
and Savage's reaction too. He was like, "Woo!" right
Yeah,
off the
like,
bat.
yeah, like, hey.
Like, are you going in a wrong direction?
No,
Slade?
y'all got me. They got me tripping up here, Savage. I
Yeah.
thought I was cool, man. Hey, so okay, you played in the division, man, with these coaches, and you know a lot how they think, man, and like, well, how do you see that transition from the AFC North to the AFC South, where it's up and coming, where you have against a traditionally powerhouse of a conference, of a division in the AFC North? How do you think it translates?
That's what I'm hoping he brings here, to where you don't even have to say it. I feel like sometimes, you use certain catchphrases, which is fine to me, and I love it, like Tennessee Tough and, all that type of stuff. Like, I'm hoping he brings it to where that doesn't have to be said. Right. You don't have to hear that from people. You just notice it on the field, because that's how we somewhat approach our divisional opponents. When we were going against Cincy or Baltimore or Cleveland, it was, hey, we know what type of game this is. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping that he brings that down to the style of ball that they want to see on the field. I know a lot of people say we want to be forward-thinking and be a 21st century offense. I feel like, and I've said this on our show and to Will too, it's one of those things. I think it's one of those things where when we hired Heupel, it was, this is an air raid type of offense. And then he said, no, we're going to smash people in the mouth. We're going to play a certain type of way, and we're going to beat people up. I'm hoping we see those Joe Mixon type of running backs, or those, Giovanni Bernard types, and you got wide receivers that is just as physical without having to say that or demand that from people, right? That's what I'm hoping he brings down, and that level of competition where you got 4 young stud quarterbacks, we think, in the AFC South now. Them somewhat walking them down, because C.J. Stroud jumped out quick to where Will Levis and of course the competition with Trevor Lawrence and of course Anthony Richardson moving forward, that the Titans are on the forefront of that. That's my hope for him, and what I'm hoping he brings from the AFC North, to where those games where you got 3-point scores, or at the end of the day it's like, God, that was a battle. You need to be a part of that. You don't want to get left behind.
So you mentioned running backs. I don't know if you guys caught it, but he did drop a whole little making sure the running backs pass protect well at one point. Did you hear
I'm glad
that
you
one?
went down that path. Yes.
Yeah. Did you heard that little drop? Because he didn't mention that in the wide receivers. Now, he did say we have to have receivers that are selfless. And that's what they had in Cincy. But I did notice that little running backs that will pass protect well.
But you know what it does too, and I heard him somewhat cover up the O line by saying protection is a team thing.
Yeah.
It does involve the tight ends. It does involve the wide receiver, and also the quarterback getting the ball out on time too.
Yeah.
It requires all of those things. But the thing about the running back blocking is this: you are directly involved in it. Unless it's max protection with the tight end, the running back is mostly going to be involved in pass protections, because he's in the middle with the middle linebackers that blitz, or he's in the middle where he can see, like the quarterback does, the entire field, so he can pick up safety blitzes or corner blitzes. So if you got a guy that is neglectful in his pass protections, it makes you one-sided. It makes you a very boring offense. It makes you predictable, because if you got to parade a third down back on the field to protect, well, we know you're passing. Why come I can't keep my running back in for first, second, and third down, and you don't have any idea on what I'm about to do because he can pass pro. He might not be the greatest. I just need for you to get him off the quarterback enough for me to get the ball away.
Hence Derrick Henry sitting on the sideline on third downs, right? And pissed about it, too.
You said that.
I said that. Hey, I said it. I saw his face on the sideline every time he was on the sideline for third down. I saw it.
Hey, the eye in the sky don't lie.
Yeah, the eye in the sky don't lie. Hey, just out of curiosity, along that conversation, how is Tajay Spears when it comes to pass protection?
He's very violent with it.
Okay.
Point blank period. He is violent with it, and he takes it upon himself. And that's the thing too about, I ain't gonna call him a small running back, but he's 5'10", so he's not little. But those stature guys take it personally, where you're not, 5'11", 240 or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. He's a smaller, agile guy, and every running back I've met like that, that plays, usually are very violent in their pass protection. So he takes it serious, and I think that's one of the reasons why he was also very vocal with his teammates on the sideline, too.
I like it. Okay, so if you're a player and you just listened to Brian Callahan and everything he had to say, are you excited to go to work for him?
Yeah, and I got a lot of anxiety, too, because I need to make sure I'm one of his types of guys. Yeah. There's a lot that goes into a new coach. Well, it's just like college. Well, wait till we get his guys in, right? Those are the conversations we have. Yeah. There's anxiety and change like that for those guys inside that room. So I don't want to just make it seem like, oh, this is just going to pick up and be perfect and the Titans are going to win 12 games next year. There is a transition of figuring out what does this roster look like? How do we build it to what I want to do? Because there were certain offenses in the NFL I simply wouldn't have fit in. And there's guys, wide receivers that won't fit in Sean McVay type of offense either. So that does matter. So there's anxiety because there's change, like big change. But it is optimistic, too, because, he has to give you an opportunity if you are that type of player. Whatever you need, Coach, I'm willing to adjust to how you need it in order for me to be a part of this 53-man roster. So there is some excitement. You should be in that conversation or having a conversation with him real soon to figure out what his standards of operating is. Like, he can give us the entire, this is my projections and what I want from my team. The players do have to know what a coach wants and what the demands are and not get caught off guard. As Rand and everybody else has said, that big C word, collaboration, right? Mm-hmm. That does resonate down to the players. That does trickle down to everybody inside of the building, too. So it's fair for those dudes to have professional conversations. And if you know you're not that type of guy that before, then you know what? Do your best, put great tape out there, and find your next destination because there's 31 other teams. But they have optimism and anxiety.
To that point, we're going to hit on this on the other side of the break. Savage, I'm glad you brought that up about what is going to be expected inside the building. But I think it's an interesting point that Cosell made with us to what you were just talking about there. Like what kind of player are you and do you fit him and all these things. He said that and you brought up Sean McVay. This is that Rams system, right? And he said he's used to 11 personnel. So that's one running back, one tight end, 3 wide receivers. So that may be an indication of where they go free agency-wise and in the draft, right, to shape that thing.
It will, and, of course, some of these will be quick fix things. And it was very unique today, too, just hearing them just being whole in the conversation. Like hearing a head coach, be on the same page with the GM and Ms. Amy Adams-Strunk by even mentioning the scouting department. Like that, I think, is a huge play in all of this, too, knowing what type of guys. And that was one thing that Burke Nahill said with us yesterday. It shouldn't be, hey, that's a his guy or that's their type of guy. No, it should just simply be this is a Titan. And I think that's what he's looking for. Yeah. That's probably what sold them on the job. And it to me, everybody's voice is the same. And I said this, I think, last time. If you look at the good teams, there's no real separators in the conversation. There's no real credit given. Most of the credit, honestly, goes to the players. It ain't because of, hey, you didn't. No, it's the players. And I think that's what this team individually wants, and I think that's what the ownership and management does, too. And you heard that in his presser today with Brian Callahan.
Big Savage, Ramone Foster. What's up?
None.
Okay.
I thought you wanted Babs'
That's
attention.
it. Is it?
You wanted Babs to do what?
I thought you wanted her attention. I thought you were trying to get her attention.
Oh, yeah, because I thought you were showing her a note.
No, I was reading this. Man, you crazy.
Y'all better get it together before Coach Callahan comes on.
Can you imagine if he's listening right now? Savage is used to this, Ramon.
Are we Brian Callahan people right now?
Listen,
No,
hey,
we're
Savage.
not, because we are
Callahan.
not at the top of our game.
Yeah, we are. Savage, great shows this week, man, as normal. But
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, y'all have been killing it. Appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all, man. And y'all doing the same thing. Everybody chasing everybody, and I love it, man. Everybody eats, B.
Everybody eats, B.
Thank you, Savage. That is definitely true. All right, when we come back, more from Brian Callahan as he addressed the media today, talking about what he expects every day in the building. That's next, 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening, good people? Ron Slay right here, man. Holistic stem cell therapy coming right to your door, but you need to go to their door to make sure you get your consultation. You should call 615-850-4415. That's 615-850-4415. You out there doing a lot of traveling like I like to do, man. I'm talking about in the car or anywhere. It's basketball season, so you're going to get out and about. You're sitting in cars, you're sitting in bleachers, your knees hurting. That's inflammation, man. Let me go on and take care of it. Go in there and get your body, your cells, your solution to take care of all of that. That's right. They get your cells to fight the inflammation immediately because we all know stem cells attack inflammation in the body. And this is with congestive heart failure, lung issues, asthma, arthritis, the list goes on and on. I did it with my knees, so I have my own testimony, and I can abide and tell you it's true. If you go in there and get it done, it'll attack the inflammation right away. I have no problems with my knees at all. And that's saying a lot, knowing that I played 14 years pro. You need to go dive into it. KillemStemCellInstitute.com.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. It's already Thursday, y'all.
I honestly thought today was Friday.
You thought it was Friday?
I honestly thought today was Friday.
Hey. It ain't Friday yet.
No, it's not. But we're almost there, baby.
I know. If it was Friday, you'd be flying out again.
I know. That's why I was thinking, like, am I supposed to leave today?
Slay's about
I
to
was
show up
just
at
coming
scoreboard.
in. I just came in today.
Oh, yeah, we're at Scoreboard tomorrow at Opryland.
So, ooh.
Yeah, Music Valley Drive.
Yeah. Ah.
Yeah.
I was supposed to do something today.
Oh.
What?
Uh-oh.
Other than the interview that you had at 1:30?
Yeah, I was supposed to pick up a suit before going to do the interview.
Uh-oh.
You got McDonald's.
And
That suit might not fit.
Thank you so much, Slay.
Damn. Davenport's over here just throwing knives at
Listen,
people.
man, Auburn take a loss. I even put y'all number 2, man, on the most what was it? The top SEC venues to play in. Yeah, I put y'all at 2.
What'd you put 1?
Yeah.
TBA.
Coleman with their blackout halfway through the first shot.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
What is it called? The Food City, Thompson Bowling.
I keep calling it Thompson Bowl, but I respect
You
it.
put
It's like
that as
Food
number
City.
1?
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
Because you try to act like you don't wear orange-colored glasses.
I don't. They're 10-1
There
against
is
top 10
no
teams.
argument.
They're 51-5
There
in the
is
last 4 years.
no
in
argument
Thompson
that
Bowl.
Auburn is the best
And that little, I mean,
college basketball
Did you just hear that?
arena
No, she ignored that. Yeah.
right now.
Ignore that. But this is what I'm
just
telling
gonna-
you.
There's
See,
no better
If y'all
atmosphere.
get to get 19,000 or 8,000, which one is easier?
It doesn't matter.
You got a
It's
good
the
product.
atmosphere.
You got a good product. I'm giving y'all that. But
Yeah, you gave
to go
us
get
2.
19,000 every
We're
year,
1.
and in the last 5 years they've been top 3 in attendance.
That I
19,000. Babs, 19,000.
I don't
in
agree.
basketball.
I don't
Babs,
agree with
Babs,
your
in 19,000
orange tinted
Babs,
glasses.
19,000, 10-1 against top 10 teams.
They are
that's crazy.
51-5 in 4 seasons.
I told y'all that. I said this the other day. They ain't losing in that building.
Like,
Watching that Alabama game.
They'll smuggle them. Big Al got something to say to you.
These are your glasses.
No, those are Big Al's glasses that you left up there.
Throat punch
in
Thursday.
Coleman.
Y'all doing each other.
Yeah, that's right. You can't 19,000 compared to it might not even be 8.
51-5.
That's when people are in attendance. So minus the COVID season. Yeah, I knew she.
February
I knew it wasn't nothing to say.
28th. I guess we'll
I can't
see
wait.
how that one goes.
Y'all got to come up out. See, y'all always get Pat Adams or somebody down there in Neville Arena. Boy, it is so hard. It is so hard. So hard to be a Rocket Top rowdy. Y'all could never.
Is it?
They could never. Like 8,000. We wouldn't even hit them like 8,000 in there.
So, Ramone was talking. Ramone
never
hit
was
on
serious.
this vibe thing. What kind of vibe's going to be over there in the building? There are a few cuts today from Brian Callahan where he talked about that with the media. Again, Brian Callahan, Titans head coach, will join the show at 5:00. Boom boom room time.
Boom Boom Room. Lock the door. What?
Are we going to be cut off from the Boom Boom Room
No, we
because
got
it's
it.
the head coach?
No, hell no.
The general
no.
manager did it.
Man, no, listen. He won't get to coach this team. Hell no. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to speak for the fans. Brian Callahan, come on this show and don't agree to do the Boom Boom Room. Miss Amy, I love you to death. But it's time to go on. It's time to go on and get the big stamp out to say void on that contract.
That's probably like. Do you think we'll ever get Miss Amy in the Boom Boom Room?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
And you know what she would do? Kill it.
She would kill it.
I can't. Yeah, we got. Yeah,
She can handle
I need to
herself,
talk
that's
to the
for
right
sure.
people. To the right people.
Brian Callahan is an energetic guy that loves what he does.
See who would? How can
That's
he not
cut
get
number
in the door?
5, huh?
Oh, okay. She's telling us something.
There's something special about where I came from that I hope to replicate here. I think you can see it and how I feel when I speak about it. But I love going to work every single day there. And that's the environment we're going to create here. I want a place where people love coming to work. They enjoy everybody they're around. And that creates an environment that's sustainable, and you can have sustained excellence and have a chance to win a lot of football games. And so that's what we're after.
That stood out to me because I felt like that was missing from that building.
I thought that was a point that they wanted to make, like that it's going to be a fun place to be.
Yes.
Which it
That
was
we
interesting.
want
Whether
you
it wasn't
to-
or was.
You're going to grind,
yeah.
but you're going to love your
coming.
job.
They'll come to work.
Speaking of grinding, they're going to be held to a high standard, everybody.
What we're trying to do here is establish a culture of high standards and clear communication, both on and off the field. Meetings, walkthroughs, practices, how we interact in the building, how we work in the front office, how our scouts work, how our players work, how everybody in this building works. Everyone's going to be held to a high standard. We want to be held to a high standard. I've never met a player in football that doesn't want to be held to the highest possible standard so we can go make that happen and get it done. There's going to be excitement to walk into this building every day. You guys saw how emotional I got talking about Cincinnati. Well, that's how I want our players and people to feel here. When you walk in the building every day, there's an incredible excitement about what's ahead.
Pounding the podium. Mm-hmm. There's an incredible excitement about what's ahead. I'm down. I think he said all the right things today, man.
1,000%.
Like he's a people builder. If you listen to what he's saying, like he wants to get the most out of the players because he wants the players to get the most out of themselves. Like he's like, I've never been around a guy that doesn't want to be the best he can be. We're going to help them do that. He also had a little shout out to y'all, the fans.
Really, to the Titans fans, the city of Nashville, and the great state of Tennessee. All right, we're going to need your incredible support. You're a huge part of this. We need Nissan Stadium to be the most feared stadium that people walk into every Sunday. We need every possible bit of energy, every last amount of enthusiasm. Our players need to feel the energy.
Now, they did get that up in Cincy, and I'll tell you this right now.
Yeah, that's true.
If you deny going into the boom boom room, you can go and cancel that, Mr. Callie.
He's going in.
He's going in.
I just want the message to be out there because I ain't playing when he gets to the door. He don't want to show ID or something. No. You got to go through the proper protocol to get in here, and you got to do the proper protocol to get out of here. And this is part of the fans.
Show ID. I thought it was like two-step verification, like on the
That's what I'm saying. It's an eye test and it's an ID test. Eye test, I got to look at you in your eyes, see if you.
Oh, I thought you meant like a retina test.
Nah, me. I'll
like
look
lasers.
at you and see if you can get in there.
You do the eye test.
That is right. I'm the second authenticator.
Brian Callahan, of course, he was asked football questions. What does he plan to do offensively?
The biggest thing that we want to do to start is put the players we have in great position. Let them be able to find their roles, define what those roles are for them, and put them in the matchups that we feel are to our advantage. That's a very broad, general offensive philosophy, but that's sort of the starting point. We want to be great detail in the passing game, route definition, route spacing. Want to be able to complete balls at a high percentage. That's always going to be the goal. The run game, we still want to be physical. Don't get that part twisted. That's been part of the Titans' identity for a long time, and it will continue to be. We'll be a physical football team, and we'll be able to run the ball the way we need to win football games.
Route spacing and route formation is key. Those two phrases stood out to me because do you remember we were talking to Cosell a couple weeks ago about route spacing you know exactly where I'm going, where he like really dove into it as to why it's important.
It led to the first interception in that Cincinnati game that Titans fans can't let go of.
Yes.
You mean the 3-interception game in that first playoff game in 2021?
Yeah, where the current Titans head coach was on the other sideline.
Yeah, and we were waiting for the AFC Championship game. That one?
Yeah.
Okay, just curious.
Where everybody turned on Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, poor Tannehill.
That one, yeah. Anyway.
Poor Tannehill making $30 million, but that's okay.
Yeah, that stood out to me, though.
Yeah.
That is something that maybe has been missing. Yep. The communication part, that part, and then his thoughts on analytics, too. And I think that there was maybe some separation in how analytics would be used with the prior coaching staff, and maybe confusion and lack of communication on how to utilize analytics. And so I thought Brian Callahan's take on analytics and how the more that you have, the better decision you can make as a coach is what he said. That stood out to me too.
And at the end of that, saying that, it's been in the Titans fabric to be running the rock, and we're going to continue to do that. But at the same time, I think that's where the frustration grew with Titans fans and pretty much anybody watching the game not being able to pivot off of running the ball.
Right, and that caught my ear, and I mentioned this earlier. He said, everybody wants balance, but the goal on Sunday is to win, and that looks differently Sunday to Sunday. Yep. So sometimes you might be pass heavy. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you might be run heavy. Yeah. He goes, balance is a word that everybody throws around, but ultimately you try to win.
Right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Instead of beat your head against the wall is like the comma and then me finishing his sentence in my head.
That's right.
What about defense? What kind of defense does this offensive-minded head coach want to run?
At the end of the day, you got to have a very flexible and adaptable defense. You still have to be physical. You still have to run and hit. You have to tackle well. You have to force errors. There's a lot of things you can do that in the coverage structure game, in the pressure package game, where it makes it really hard on an offense. And so I know what gives me problems. I know the hard defenses to game plan against, and those are the things that I'm looking for in the style of defense we're going to play. Without getting too far down a bunch of characteristics, don't mean much until we put the pads on, but that's what I look for. Is what makes it hard for me as an offensive coach. That's the style of defense that I'm looking for.
Okay.
I like that because
it's smart.
what are you going to do? Because you're going to hire a guy that you're going to let here, you do your thing, basically, right? Like you'll oversee it, but hey man, I'm gonna do the offense, you do the defense, and so I thought the interesting answer there was. I want to have the kind of defense that gives me problems in terms of putting together an offensive game plan.
And he knows what that is.
Yep.
And he's right when he was asked, are you going to run 3-4, 4-3, what kind of defense? He's like, they're all multiple nowadays. You see that in college too. I mean, you get your 3-3-5s here and there, but everything's multiple nowadays where it's easy to kind of transition from one to another.
Mm-hmm. Coaches tell you that all the time. It'll be labeled 3-4, but
right.
You've got 5. He just said it. You got 5-man fronts. You got 4.
Yep.
So we'll see. 615.
It's part of the evolution of this game, right?
Yep. 615-737-1045. By the way, Jeremy Fowler with the story from ESPN. The contract length on Don Davenport for Brian Callahan.
Yes, a reported 5-year deal from Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. Thoughts on that?
I like that.
I like it too. Let the guy know. Hey, man, you're here. We've got the structure. You're answering to the general manager. He's got control of the 53. There will be collaboration, Don. But
I hate that word.
Somebody called Blaine and Mickey and said, I know y'all don't like the word collaboration.
It was a lady. I heard her.
And Mickey's like, that's not us.
I hate it. That's me.
No, it's Don Davenport. There she is.
So much collaboration.
Let's get Bill in here in Nashville. Bill, what's up?
Hey, just a quick question for you, or comments, really. So I said something to a buddy of mine at work, and he didn't think it was realistic, so I just throw something at you. Brian Callahan comes across as an extremely smart coach. He did say he's going to be bringing in quite a bit of experience. His dad was an OC before he became a head coach. My thought was he's going to hire his dad as head coach. He's going to hire Mike Munchak as his offensive line coach. Then on the player side, he's not going O-line first round. He's going to, in free agency, he's going to pick up a O-line left tackle. He's going to pick up a center, and I think he's going to get Brock Byard with that first-round pick as at number 7. Let y'all talk about that. Thank you.
One problem with the left tackle free agency, there are only 4 of them.
And they're all old.
Or staying where they are.
Correct.
Now, you could dive into the restricted free agent market, but then you're going to overpay for a guy. 100% guaranteed you overpay.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to find a quality left side of that line in free agency. It's really hard or really, really expensive.
I think it's really hard to find a foundational piece O-lineman in the free agency.
Period.
Because, because if you go into free agency, you got to be thinking to take someone away.
You're going to pay.
That is a big check.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then to catch one on the back end, that's 2 years max, whoever you're paying. And then once again, you'll have that revolving door again, trying to figure it out.
I think you got to look at the draft.
Yeah,
I do.
I'm with you.
I do. And Callahan made his points about, it's not just the offensive line. It is.
I loved what he said about that.
Yes. By the way, I know we have
Real
to
quick,
take.
he said it's a
Go ahead.
holistic offensive issue.
Yes. Yep.
Receivers got to get
out,
off their coverage. The quarterback's got to deliver the ball on time, and you got to win your battle. You want the 4 left tackles that are unrestricted? Tyron Smith, Dallas.
Nope.
Dwayne Brown, New York Jets.
Nope.
Cornelius Lucas, Washington.
Nope.
Donovan Smith, Kansas City.
Nope.
Smith and Smith, I think, will stay where they are. Dwayne Brown is 38 years old.
No.
So, there.
He
Sorry,
also
Babs.
mentioned his dad. So everybody knows, and Callahan said it, well, he's under contract. So
Can't talk about it.
Can't talk about it, yes. So here's the mandate, right, for if he were to get out of his contract to go take a position. In order for permission to be automatically granted, a request cannot be for a shared position. So a shared position is defined to include if there's another coach or consultant at the same position, if there's a coach or consultant who has a similar responsibility or title with the prefix co, if on the side of the ball for which permission is sought, there's a coach or consultant who has any coordinating responsibility, run game coordinator, pass game coordinator, etc., or who had such responsibility in the prior season. Like, there is a lot to get him out of his contract to come here as the OC. In order to ask for permission, there can be no assistant coach on the hiring club staff who has the title of assistant head coach or its equivalent. For the purposes of this policy, the coordinator, offensive, defensive, or special teams, is defined as an individual whose job responsibilities at least include leads or coordinates all team meetings on their side of the ball, reports directly to the head coach, and supervises the position coaches on their side of the ball, and must play a role in the development of the game plan, but is not required to call the plays during games. So, technically, he could get his dad out of his contract if he made him the OC and there was no other assistant head coach or co-offensive coordinator or anything like that on the staff.
That's interesting.
As long as he ran the offensive side of the ball, doesn't have to call plays, but he has to be the OC, running team meetings and doing all that and reporting directly to the head coach and supervising all of the position coaches on his side of the ball.
That is phenomenal information. More about this entire situation.
Thanks to Coach Mack for that info, by the way.
615-737-1045. Again, the head coach, Brian Callahan, in about 20 minutes here on 104.5 The Zone. Go up to Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. That's where you need to go to get that next new vehicle, whether you're looking for a car, truck, SUV, or Jeep, new or pre-owned. My guy, Daniel Gupta, and his crew will be able to help you out. They simply want to listen to you about what you need. Maybe you need a third row. You need more room. Maybe you need something with less of a payment. Maybe you need more gas affordability. Let them know what you're looking for, and they will help you out. There will be no pressure at all. They simply want you in the vehicle that's right for you. So you go take your test drive, you go inside, they will help make the numbers work, and it will be that easy. Best vehicle buying experience that you will have ever had. I've bought multiple vehicles from these guys. They're awesome people. Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, 24 West to exit 35 is about 9 miles outside the city. Then a straight shot into the best vehicle buying experience you've ever had or seen. 3450 Tom Austin Highway in beautiful Springfield, Tennessee. About 30 minutes from downtown Nashville. Check them out online. GuptonMotors.com is the website. All the inventory's there. All the dealership information is there. That's Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
Let's go, people. It's time to keep your lights on when storms are coming, and if they're going to hit you with snow, ice, all of that, and knock electricity out, you can be prepared for it. How do you be prepared, Babsy? It's Cove Generators. They always stay connected through it all, Babsy.
Yes, they do. I saw power was actually out over near my house earlier today. Yes, our houses. So I hope everybody whose power was gone had a Generac home standby generator from Cove Generators. They can help you with all your home generator needs. They can do service and repair any brand of residential and industrial generator. And Cove Generators is your premier Generac home standby generator. They'll make sure that you get the right size. Their technicians know exactly what you need, and they're there for you the entire time that you own that generator. All you have to do, visit covegenerators.com. Never lose power again, or call them 931-559-3311. That's COVE generators.com.
Stay connected through it all.
3HL 1045, The Zone. Britt Doherty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay.
Hello.
The head coach, Callie. Brian Callahan will join us in about 10 minutes. That was really interesting stuff there, Babsy, in terms of
really
bringing
good stuff.
Callahan in here.
Babsy
Yes.
Or Papa Callahan,
Papa Callahan.
which
as
Brian
far
cannot
as-
talk about him because he's under contract.
He is under contract.
How cool do you think that phone call was, though? Like when you get to call your dad, who's been a coach for your entire life.
Dad, I got a job.
Hey,
Dad, I
Dad.
got it.
I got the job.
I'm an NFL head coach, bro.
It's pretty cool.
Way to go. Way to go, son.
How do you handle the king situation if you're a new coach here?
You that ain't up to you.
Yeah.
You ain't got
Hey.
nothing to do with that.
Miss Amy laid it out. Rand's
Yeah.
in charge of personnel.
Uh-huh.
That's right. Good
Yep.
point.
As
So
it's
he doesn't
perfect-
have
it's
to worry
perfect
about it.
for him. Y'all give me what you got.
I think you still reach out to him.
Yeah, that's
I think you still-
professionalism.
Yep. Have a conversation. Hey,
Mhm.
would love for it to work out.
Totally agree.
And
And
would love to coach you and have you a part of this franchise, and we'll see what happens.
Will Levis happened to be in the building today.
Yeah, working out. Shocker.
Jim Rat.
He's gonna get too big. Could he get too swole?
No.
Gonna become that Tim Tebow.
He's got to
Get
make,
that Tim Tebow
make
look.
sure he continue throwing. That's
By the
all he
way,
gotta do.
Callahan was on that staff when Tebow had the 3.1, the 316 game,
Oh, yeah.
the 316 game,
Oh, that's right. He
where
was.
where he averaged 3.16 yards per rush and 31.6 yards per pass, and it went viral and all those things. He was on that staff. Yep. On the staff that Peyton Manning and them won Super Bowl 50.
You know, somebody I really wanted to ask him about, but it may be too touchy of a subject, even though time has passed. Demaryius Thomas.
I'm intrigued now. Oh,
How
Yeah.
good Demaryius Thomas was. Because I would
Gosh,
love
he
to know,
was.
man, what? Like him, like he's been around some guys. Him, Eric Decker, Jamar Chase, Marvin Jones, T. Higgins. Like he's seen some 1,000-yard receivers, like, you know what I'm saying? And he's seen them not thrive the year before and turn it on. Like, what's the separator in those guys to get to playing at that level? Like Jamar Chase, you know his talent is crazy. But Demaryius Thomas worked up to his. You know what I'm saying? And went bananas. So,
man,
but
he
I
was
don't
so
know how
big
you-
and
I don't know
physical,
how
too.
this- Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, would have been about 3 years, 4 years maybe. I think it's 19, 20 when he passed. I can't remember. But yeah, that was a dog, boy. Whew. One of them teams. Yeah.
feel like you just brought down the show a little bit.
Well, that's all right. We about to have the coach on.
Listen to her.
Yeah,
Just,
she just-
turned it right there.
Tight.
I just turned
tight.
it back up. Hey,
But-
we probably need to make sure we get out on time. I have a feeling that Coach Callahan is always on time.
He seems like that kind of guy, very organized and measured for sure. And 39 years old, head coach of the Tennessee Titans, 20th head coach in franchise history. He was born in Champaign, Illinois, when his dad was coaching at Illinois. So his dad has been a coach, Brian Callahan's entire life. What a moment those two must have shared on the phone when he got the job. It is funny, though. Come back to it. Slay was like, don't let that man leave town on Monday. If
Lock
you think
it up,
he's the guy.
And Miss Amy joked.
And
didn't.
she said
She
it.
didn't.
She said we were not going to let him leave town.
Thank you, Miss Amy, for listening to us at 3HO.
We didn't want to let him leave the building, is exactly what she said. All right,
really?
Titans head coach Brian Callahan next on 3HL 1045 The Zone. I want to tell you about my friends at Brentwood Jewelry. Valentine's Day is coming up, and they will help you knock out that list. 7012 Church Street, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. Popular time to promote and propose, all in the same time. And you can get it done. Our friends at Brentwood Jewelry can help you out. It is time for you to get that done, and if so, they will have Experts helping you out. Maybe you're looking for something custom and unique. You can consult with their custom designers or choose from their selection of fine diamonds. Watches as well as a strength, always a great present for Valentine's Day. And nobody does it better in terms of watches than Brentwood Jewelry. I go see my man Salem and Brandon Amamali all the time to check out the new watch selection. And they've got that pre-owned Rolex selection for you as well, and you can gift that fine pre-owned Rolex for a fraction of the cost. Every watch has been meticulously serviced to ensure the highest level of performance. It is presented with a 2-year warranty. 7012 Church Street in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for more than 50 years. Visit BrentwoodJewelry.com.
Good evening from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Joe Hogg. The Titans introduced their brand new head coach, Brian Callahan, earlier today in a press conference. He will actually be joining us here in just a few moments on 104.5 The Zone. The Preds are in action tonight against the Minnesota Wild up in Minneapolis. 7 p.m. is the puck drop time. You can watch that on Bally Sports. And George McIntyre committed to play football for the Vols, but tonight at 7:15, you can hear him right here on 104.5 The Zone as Brentwood Academy takes on Innsworth in basketball. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, as well as home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
At 3HL 104.5 The Zone, Britt Doherty, Don Davenport with you. Ron Slay is here too, and we've got a busy hour.
Yes, indeed.
The Titans have a new head football coach. Have y'all heard?
Ooh.
Should we just call him Brian Callahan, or should we call him Callie? I mean, Rand kind of told everybody to call him Callie today, didn't he?
I think it's up to him. He may have different names in different venues.
Hunk is processing as we speak. Friday edition coming up. We will be live at Scoreboard Bar and Grill, Music Valley Drive. So we'll be at the Opryland location tomorrow.
Hey.
Yep.
Looking forward to that.
OG.
Come see us.
The Titans have a new head coach. His name is Brian Callahan. Rand Carthon told everybody to call him Callie. Coach, what do you want to be called? Should we call you Brian Callahan or Callie? Where are you with this?
I don't have a huge preference. You guys can run with it as you will. I go by all of it.
There you go.
I like it.
Head coach of the Tennessee Titans. How does that feel, man?
It's pretty surreal right now. Still, it's starting to sink in a little more as the days calm down. But like I said in my press conference, man, it's an incredible honor. It's humbling. And I know there's a lot of work ahead, and the exciting part's just about to start. So, it's crazy. I'm sitting in the office as the head coach of the Titans, and it's awesome, man. It's really awesome.
So your dad has been a coach longer than you've been alive. I'm curious, were you able to break the news to him, and how did that how special was that conversation?
It was a great father-son moment. I called my wife first, and then I called my mom and dad, and just let them know that this is going to happen. Pretty much right after I heard the news, and it was pretty cool. It was a great moment. He's super proud. I don't know how many guys are officially fathers and sons that have been head coaches in the NFL, but I think it's a pretty small club, and what an awesome thing to be able to say. He's super proud and really excited for me.
My guess is you'll hear that little stat like a million times now. So we'll see.
Brian, now it'll be everywhere.
Brian Callahan, head coach of the Tennessee Titans, with us on 3HL.
Well, Coach, I know Miss Amy said today that she felt you and Rand just had this special chemistry right off the bat when you were sitting in that room. Did you feel that, and what was your past relationship with Rand?
Yeah, I'd never met Rand before. I never knew him. I've known of him, obviously his work in San Francisco, and I'm relatively close both professionally and personally with Adam Peters. And so when Rand first called me and said they wanted to interview me, I called Adam right away, and I just said, hey, what do I need to know? And he goes, he's one of the best people I've ever been around. So I said, well, that's a great start.
Yeah, right.
And then just as we got into the Zoom process and the interview process, we just see things very similarly. We see culture similarly. We see what we want the building to look like similarly. And I just felt an alignment from the get-go. And that to me was really important. And especially for some of that I never met and never worked with and had no idea who he was. And it just felt right. That's the best way I can describe it, is as the conversations went on, the more comfortable it became. And him and I just really became fast friends, if you will. It's the best way I can put it, because he sees things very similar to me, and that's really exciting.
So as you're sitting there and you're feeling this, are you sitting there thinking, man, I really hope that he's feeling the same way, like
I hope it's not just me.
Yeah.
I do, yeah. Yeah, I do, yeah. Yeah, it's like, you got a crush on somebody and they don't like you anymore. But, that's what it felt like. I had everything throughout the process from the first interview through the week into the in-person interview. It felt like there was a connection. And like I've said, when I walked into the actual in-person interview and I'm in the building and I'm getting to meet people and on the business side, and I'm getting to meet Amy in person, and I get to meet everybody, and we get to have this. Finally, you're not looking at a computer screen anymore. I'm kind of tired of doing Zoom interviews, and just to feel the connection. There's just an incredible energy here right now, and I felt it in the interview process. And I hope that how I came across today and what the fans felt is the same thing that I feel when I got on that Zoom. Like, man, I want to be a part of this. And I was about to make a gigantic plea to Rand at the end of my interview, like, what's holding you back from hiring me, man? What do I got to answer? Like, how do we make this? How do we make this happen? And I didn't have to have that. They offered me the job before I had to go do that. So let's just say it was mutual. I was relieved. I was excited, and I knew exactly that this is where I wanted to be.
Such an interesting process in the way that you describe it. I don't know how you do, like, because we used to have to do radio on Zoom, and interpersonal, like, body language is such a part of the communication, right? Like, so it's got to be hard to interview there are only 32 of y'all, right? Like, so to interview for an NFL coaching position on Zoom, it's got to be kind of a pressurized situation to get your personality through that screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've learned some lessons. I interviewed 3 years ago in Denver. That was my first one and only one that year. And then last year I interviewed in Indy, and I interviewed in Arizona. And so, like, I had a little bit of experience. And then this year I did Tennessee, Atlanta, Carolina, and the Chargers. And so I did 4 of them in a week. And I felt like by the time this whole process has been over, I felt like I've learned how to try to convey some of that on Zoom. It's not easy, but it's challenging, and it's not the way that you hope interviews go. But it's part of life now, I think, in a lot of places, and you just got to try to put your personality through a screen as best you can. But yeah, I much prefer to be in person.
Yeah, we're all like that too. Man, that sounds like speed dating. Brian Callahan, the new head coach of the Tennessee Titans, with us now. And here's the most exciting part of your day: not being, welcomed into the city as the head coach of the Titans, but actually jumping into what we call the boom boom room. Slay Dog?
Oh, have you been warned, Coach?
I may have been given a heads up, so let's do it.
Yeah, we know, Robbie. We know Robbie.
Coach Brian Callahan, man. Welcome to Nashville, the Music City, Cashville, the Tennessee Titans home. Now it is time for the real interview process. All of that Zoom meeting and everything was cool, but now it's time for the fans to get to know you just a little bit more. Now, the Boom Boom Room, this is a room when you step in, it's real personable. You just kick your feet up. It's just two guys having a good conversation, and nobody's watching but probably a million people outside the building. If you agree to these terms, you walk in the Boom Boom Room, the door is locked behind you, and there's only one person that can let you out. That's me if you answer everything truthfully to the best of your ability. Do you agree to these terms, Coach Callahan?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's go.
One man on his way in to the Boom Boom Room.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have the new Titans head coach in the Boom Boom Room, and we're going to call him Callie. We're throwing out the coach and everything, because we just two guys just sitting here on the couch having a good time, man. Coach, first and foremost, some little quick hitters, man. 3 favorite movies. Give me 3 favorite movies of yours that you got to have if you're on a deserted island.
Oh, man. Braveheart is one.
Ooh.
Absolutely. Braveheart is one.
Like that.
I would say Top Gun is 2.
Oh, the new one or the old one?
Both of them.
Oh, I like that. You can get it.
I'm going to jump in the Boom Boom Room real quick. Wasn't that incredible that the second movie was that good? Because they never are.
No, they never are. If you had to choose one, I'd still pick the original, but the second one was fantastic.
And your third?
And the third one, Let's go Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, Morgan Freeman brought you in the Boom Boom Room, and he'll still be with you. I like that. Good choice. All right. To get a little taste of your music, 3 albums you got to have on a deserted island.
Oh, God, gotta have. I listen to all kinds of stuff.
Okay, me too.
Yeah, let's see. That's a tough one for me.
That's what the Boom Boom Room does.
And I'm probably going to change in the minute I hang up. Like,
that's cool.
Said that.
That's all good. We might airlift you something.
Out of everything you said today, that's what's going to stick.
It is. The only thing I'll be thinking about tonight is I said the wrong music. Dang it. All right, let's go. Let's go.
Stunning them.
All right, let's go Led Zeppelin to start.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That gets me going.
Yeah.
I would say, man, it's hard to.
I know it.
It's hard. This is hard. This is going to surprise you guys. But I'm a big E40 fan.
To the Bay? Take them to
yeah,
the
man.
Bay,
That's how I went to high
Cali?
school. That's about yeah.
Hey, you sure did. I forgot about the. Hey, okay, Cali.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that. You ain't even got to answer the third one then. Okay,
There you go.
You can start with E40. That did it for me.
You won.
All right, now they get a little bit harder for you, Cali. Now, right here.
Yeah, let's go.
You get the choice of an autobiography book or a biopic. Which one would you choose to be done?
On him?
On him. On you.
Okay.
I'd say an autobiography book.
Okay, now to the second part of that, who would narrate you? Who's going to narrate the book for you?
Let's see.
You got some good voices out there, man. You got me.
One's already been mentioned twice.
Yours is pretty silky right now. I like it.
That got a little romantic.
You try to win friends and influence people over here.
You got Morgan already on the island with you. You got Pacino out there.
I know.
Uh-huh.
I would say, let's say, let's go Kyle Chandler.
Oh,
from Friday Night Lights.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I like that,
Full
Kelly.
hearts.
I like that right there.
Yeah.
Okay, moving right along. What would you tell your younger self in any version, younger, the middle part, like high school to college, or this point being a professional? What is something that you would tell them that if you could go back and so they wouldn't falter? What would be a remark or something to tell them to look out for? Advice to your younger self. Yeah, there you go.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm. It could be you as a young one. It could be you as a pro. You only get one though. I'm stomping right now.
Yeah, you're killing
this. This is a hard one.
Yeah, I like it.
This is way tougher than that Titans interview process, wasn't it?
Man.
He's like, dude, can you just ask me football questions?
Yeah. Okay.
What are you doing?
Guess what?
Just ask me about Derrick Henry, dang
I'll
it.
tell you what, since all these voices are in the Boom Boom Room, let me tell you this.
Sorry.
Let me see this, Callie. Okay, so this is what we'll do. You think about that, and I'm going to ask you this one. This one's going to be even tougher.
Okay.
You need someone to start a game. You need someone to finish the game with a lead. You need someone to call the game, and you need someone to lead you on a winning drive. You got 4 guys that you got to use in a game. Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford, Peyton Manning, and Joe Burrow. I'm going to repeat. You need
give it to me one more time.
You need all of these guys to play. You need someone to manage or call the game, meaning they can have a headset on. You need someone to take you on a game-winning drive. You need someone to start the game, and you need somebody to finish the game with you having a lead of about 6 points. How you gonna put these people up? I know it. The Boom Boom Room don't play, Coach.
the one that's one of the I would say Derek Carr to call the game. Derek's incredibly intelligent. Mm-hmm. And got a great feel for football.
Nice.
I would say to win. What was the next one?
The next one was someone to take you on a game-winning drive, or someone to finish the game with a lead. You got a 6-point lead, and you need somebody to finish the game for you.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would take all 3 of those guys to go win the game.
But guess what? You got to use. I
got to use them all, right?
Yep, you sure do.
Them all. Do I have 2015 Peyton Manning?
You got each one in their prime, Coach. You got each one in their prime. That was a good one.
Yeah, let's
let's go. Let's out of respect to the Hall of Fame, let's go Peyton Manning to win the game.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's go, and I almost put Matthew Stafford in there because that's what he does too.
Yeah.
Let's go with a lead. Let's go with the lead just because he's the younger of the group. Let's go Joe Burrow with the lead, even though I want to put them all in there.
Okay.
And then what was the last one?
The last one is
Start
you need
the
one
game.
to start the game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's do Burrow to start the game and Stafford to play with the lead.
Okay.
There
I
you
like that. I like that. Good.
Burrow
Coach,
gets you the lead.
Last one for you, Coach. And yeah, it will. This right here get you out of the boom boom room. You got to answer correctly. You got one
All right.
choice. You got Skyline Chili, or you got Nashville's hot chicken on the menu. Which one you taking and why?
Oh, that's how you're gonna end this?
That's how we got. That's how we get it. Hey, the door can
That's
get
the
unlocked.
easiest one. That's the easiest they come. It's the Nashville hot chicken.
Did he make it out?
Yeah, Coach Callie, you have made it through. Let him out the boom boom room, Hunk.
Well. Looks like you did good in the boom boom room. Hoo-wah.
Brian Callahan,
Well done,
the
Coach.
head coach of the Tennessee Titans, with us playing along. Thanks for doing that.
Of course.
I'm curious, your time in Cincinnati, back to football stuff, your time in Cincinnati, it was a struggle early. How were you guys able to come through that so quickly and cleanly?
Yeah, you learn a lot about yourself and when things go not according to plan. But the best thing that we did was we stayed consistent. We didn't really ride the ups and downs. We were focused on making sure we were building the right direction. We had a lot of great guys in the locker room. We needed to add more talent to compete with the teams that we were playing against. And so you didn't feel we were 0-11 at one point. I thought we were going to go 0-16, to be honest. And it was hard, but never felt like that. And that's how we knew that we were going to have a chance, that we had a bunch of guys in there that still tried to do things the right way. They still practiced hard. They played hard. We just weren't getting the results in the field that we were hoping for. And we knew that if we added some more players and more talent in some spots that we were going to get better. That's really exactly what happened. And the core of our team over that Super Bowl run and the AFC Championship game 2 years ago, those back-to-back AFC Championship appearances were a lot of the guys that were on that team. The core of those guys were still there, the Tyler Boyds and Joe Mixon and Sam Hubbard and Josh Tupou. And, those guys were the core of our leadership group in the coming years. And they kind of forged that identity in a really difficult situation as young players. So, but a lot of it was the consistency of the messaging and guys still believing in what was being told to them. And that's how we ended up where we were a couple years later.
Coach, along those same lines, you were with Zach Taylor from the get-go there, and he stepped in as a head coach and a first-time play caller, kind of similar, obviously, to what you're doing here. So I'm curious what is maybe the biggest thing that you learned from him along those lines of stepping in as a first-time head coach and play caller?
Just how important the people around you are.
Yeah.
Obviously that Zach and I's relationship was really good. And so we saw the game the same way. We communicated together really well. And so he leaned a lot on me to get everything ready for him for every meeting, every situation, third down, the red zone, and the rest of our offensive staff to really put a good plan in place. And what's kind of the play calling thing gets thrown around sometimes. As it's like this insane thing you have to handle. It's like the plan gets put together during the week. You get to Sunday and you've met, the plays have been ranked, the quarterbacks have had input. You're kind of calling off the sheet as you've planned to do. But what made us unique in Cincinnati was that we had a bunch of guys that were super sharp and could think quickly and on our staff. And so we were able to, when things didn't go as we planned, we could pivot really fast in game. And that to me is what good coaching is. The play calling itself, the table gets set through most of the week. By the time you get to Sunday, everything feels pretty good. They're just coming out of my mouth. And Zach, I tell you the same thing. Like the plays came out of his mouth, but there was a lot of work by a lot of people to get the game plan set. And the plan was sort of put in motion prior to the game even starting. And so that part to me is how I see it. It's hard to explain that if you're not involved in it.
Yeah.
but that's kind of what it is. But the important part for me is going to make sure I get the right people. I hire a great offensive staff that I can really lean on when I got to go be with the defense, or I have to be where my time gets taken away in other places. And that's the critical part of calling plays as a head coach, is you got to have great people with you.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because there's a lot of fans that are concerned about that, right? You know, it's not knowing how
it's
it
the
works.
first question
It's
people
the
ask
first
us.
thing that people.
Yeah.
Well, he's never called plays though, and now he's going to be a head coach and a play caller. So I'm glad that you explained that and pointed that out.
Yeah. Well, and then on the flip side too, like, I've been an offensive coordinator for 5 years. You know, it's not like I haven't been involved in the game planning process and the play calling process on game day. Like, this isn't new.
Yeah.
It's just like I said, just because the plays coming out of my mouth doesn't mean that this isn't the process that I've done for the last 5 years. And so I feel incredibly confident in that. And you know, it gets talked about a lot, but I think the conversation to me is not as relevant as people make it out to be.
Coach, you taught high school for a minute, correct?
I did for 2 years.
How did that help you, being around a younger generation? How did that help you when it comes to communication with this generation of athlete?
It was incredibly formative for me in those 2 years. I was pretty young too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I had a lot of answers, like all young people do, and I found out that I didn't have any answers. But that was what was the beauty of that experience, is that I learned how to teach in a way that people respond to, and how to be clear in what I'm asking. It really helped jumpstart how I want to coach and teach. And so that part, I still, and the relationship part is so important. That's what makes high school sports so incredible, is that you have a chance to really impact the young people at an age when they're very open to being impacted, and building those relationships with those kids. I talk to a bunch of them still to this day, the kids that I coach, and it's a great experience. It was huge for me as a young coach to learn what it meant to teach and communicate in a way that people can understand, and be able to do what you're telling them. Essentially, that's what coaching is, right? Yep. And so that part to me was a big part of my development, especially as young as I was then.
Well, that certainly sounds like leadership, doesn't it? Yeah, I like it. Coach, we got to talk about your quarterback, Will Levis. Yeah. What have you seen from him, I guess, in person, on tape, that you like, and potential-wise, just fill us in on kind of how you evaluate Will Levis?
Yeah, I've watched all his snaps, and I watched him coming out in the draft, and I had a high opinion of him then. And after I watched him play this year, I continue to have a high opinion of him. And what I like about him is he's physically very talented. He's big, he's strong, he can make all the throws. But what you see in his games this year in the NFL is just how competitive he is. Mm-hmm. And that wins for you in the NFL. If you have guys that physical tools, and you got the competitiveness to match. And as I get to know his personality and how he sees the game, that's going to be a really big part of how we go about running the offense. But everything I see tells me that he's got a chance to be a really good player. And I'm excited about that. And that's, I want to get to work now. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
There are rules against that, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's why they put them in place for people like me. But I'm incredibly excited about his potential and what I've seen and what he's done. There's a lot of growth that happens between your first year in the NFL and in your second. And I think what's going to be great for Will is he's going to have the reps to go with it. He's going to have all the OTAs and training camp, and he's going to feel a whole lot better going into this season than he did last year. And I think that's the key is you're trying to kind of steadily get better every day. And for him, it's going to be a big part of his process. But as far as the tools go, I mean, he's got a full toolbox, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see what tools we get to use.
So I have a random question for you. I got to cover in college football. I got to cover Levis at Kentucky the year that he had Liam Cohen as his OC, and was phenomenal. And Liam, I felt like, really got the most out of him during that time. Do you have a relationship with Cohen? Have you talked to him about what worked for Levis or any of that? Or am I like way too early to ask this?
Yeah, it's probably a little early. I know Liam well. Obviously, his time with the Rams, and he knows Zach as well. So, we come from the same place. So a lot of what he did in Kentucky that year, you'll see some elements of that in what we do here. But Liam's a fantastic football coach, and he's done a really good job. I got a good relationship with him, but as far as reaching out to him about Will at this point yet, no, I had a conversation with him about Will previously, but he, as far as staffing and all that stuff goes, we're in the infancy of that portion. So that'll come as it comes.
Gotcha.
Well, we appreciate the time. Brian Callahan, new coach of the Tennessee Titans, and glad you're on this sideline now as you get the Bengals next season here in Nashville. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if you don't know, like that is still a major sore spot in this market. That game that y'all won, despite Burrow getting sacked nine times. So we're glad you're here, man. Enjoy Nashville, and can't wait to get to know you better, man. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on. And, again, looking forward to chatting again soon.
Thanks, Coach.
There you go. Brian Callahan, the Tennessee Titans head coach. Callie. Getting positive reviews in the chat.
Yes, indeed.
He's the E40. That's what got him.
E40 got him.
E40 got him. You and that booty.
All right, Tracy Wolfson.
E40, man, Slay was in.
Yeah,
that did.
You just ended that series of questions.
We didn't need no third album.
You're like in court. You're like, I'm good now.
I would have been making music for darn near 30 years.
Right.
This is a catalog.
Let's talk about the AFC Championship game when we come back. Tracy Wolfson will join us next. 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
All right, Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Do you need new windows and doors? Well, guess what? You might be surprised to learn how affordable replacement windows are from Pella Windows and Doors. I would know because I had to replace all of mine in my rental home and in my actual home. So I did all the research for you. I went through all the companies, and Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville was my favorite. B, I loved the product the best, and they are all backed up by warranty, too. The 10-year labor warranty is the leading in the industry, and I actually loved the people at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Local company, they'll take care of you, and they've got a deal going on right now for you. 50% off qualifying installations, no money down, no interest, no payments for 12 months. All you have to do, schedule your free consultation, give them a call, go to their website, check out that offer at PellaNashville.com. Tell my girl Brittany that I sent you. They are the best. Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay. Appreciate new Titans coach Brian Callahan joining the show. Rave reviews on social media to that conversation.
Handled himself real well in the boom boom room.
There's no question.
We made to give out pointers.
You think so?
I thought he nailed the boom boom room on Nashville hot chicken over Skyline chili. Nailed it.
You don't like Skyline chili?
I hate Skyline chili.
Tracy Wolfson with CBS. Tracy, do you like Skyline chili or no?
Yeah, I could do without it.
See, I'm with you, Tracy.
Sideline reporters unite.
Yes. Cincinnati people get mad about that, though.
Man,
They do, but I'm just being honest.
Boy, you've got a good one coming up, and we'll get to it. Lamar against Mahomes. That's going to be something. But I'm curious, obviously, Brian Callahan, the new Titans coach, how well do you know that Cincinnati staff with Zach Taylor and those guys, and what do you know about them?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly have been around them a lot. Not this year as much as in the past, in the last few years. And, a tremendous staff, honestly. And I'm not surprised that Brian got the opportunity, so deserving. What Zach Taylor's done and the way he's compiled his staff and the success that they've had. And my guy Lou, on the defensive side, a little bummed that he didn't get some opportunities this year. But they just have a tremendous thing going over there. And the only thing that, held them up this year was certainly the injuries. So that was unfortunate for them, but I wish the best of luck to Brian, and maybe it'll bring us to Nashville.
Tracy, I can ask this to you and Dawn from your expertise in visiting with coaches pregame and things like that. Like, can you tell when a guy is like, this guy's going to be a head coach at some point?
100%. I mean, Dawn, I think you'd agree with me. I mean, it's very obvious when you talk with them and what they say and how media and just, of course, the knowledge of the game and what they do on the field. But, it is. And then you hear from the players and the coaches around them in terms of, how good they're going to be and the opportunity that they deserve. So I'm not surprised at all.
Tracy Wolfson with us on 3HL. Before we get to the AFC Championship game, how was that time in Buffalo, man? When they had to move the game and had they played the game, we all saw pictures and videos. Like how tough was that to deal with?
There was no chance they could play that game. I was laughing at people being like, I don't understand. It's sunny over here. That's the thing I've learned about Buffalo. I mean, I could be a meteorologist up there now. I mean, it's all about those snow bands and over the lake and how the wind changes. And you could be in the north burbs and it's different than the south burbs. And, they can get 3 feet. I mean, I did a live hit on that Saturday morning. Maybe it was Sunday morning. And it was like clear blue skies behind me. But then they had a video of the stadium, and it was like 3 feet of snow there swirling, everywhere. So, it was a crazy situation, very unique. I mean, certainly spending 2 extra days in Buffalo, not knowing when you'd get home, and then not knowing when we play the game and how the game conditions would be. And I thought one of the coolest, first of all, impressive, and a shout-out to Buffalo and Bills Mafia for the way they were able to get that stadium cleared. They had 3 feet of snow into 4 a.m. in the morning. And I know fans had to sit on the, in the snow. And one of the coolest scenes ever, and we saw it again last week, was, as soon as they scored a touchdown and all that snow, the snow fireworks that went up in the air. Definitely one of the coolest scenes I've been around. I can tell you that the opposing teams didn't love the snowballs being pelted at them. For me, it was a pretty cool experience to be around.
Tracy, before we move on to the Baltimore and Kansas City game, what are your thoughts on Josh Allen and just where Buffalo is after that loss and how hard they fought?
Yeah, I feel for them. First of all, give them so much credit. I think it was, and I mentioned it, like week 14, they had a 5% chance of making the playoffs. We were there. We did that game. And so the way this team was able to come together and all the defensive injuries that they had to deal with throughout the season to still make it that far and have a chance to win it. And, against the Kansas City Chiefs, you need to be perfect. And they weren't perfect in the end and certainly down the stretch. And Kansas City took advantage and they fell short. But Josh played a tremendous game. And, you certainly feel for them. It was heartbreak and the wide right again, and you could feel it in the stadium. I'm so used to being in Kansas City for these games.
Right.
And so when Kansas City scored, the stadium went silent. It was like a pin drop. And I was like, wait a second, like, where are we right now? And then I was like, wait, we're in Buffalo. So, it was definitely different. But I totally felt for Bills Mafia, for Josh Allen, for this Bills team. But they were pretty incredible down the stretch there.
I love what Nance said. The two most dreaded words in Buffalo have surfaced again. He's so perfect, man.
Exactly. So perfect.
All right, moving to this game now. This big-time game. What are you more impressed with coming into this game? The magical ability when the playoffs click for Pat Mahomes to act like everything has been just fine and everything works, or Lamar Jackson really stepping into this, I guess, MVP role and the way he's leading this Baltimore team different?
Yeah, I mean, credit to Lamar Jackson, and I think it goes down, it's his confidence, it's how comfortable he is right now in this offense, and it's his health. And all of that combined with now they have playmakers at every position, and then a number one defense on the other side of the ball. Yeah. I mean, they are really a team to be reckoned with, and they're showing it. I mean, they played tremendous football all year long, and he deserves the MVP. They deserve to be where they are right now. And then on the flip side, you talk about Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes. You just can't bet against them. You're like, they always wind up finding a way, and that is Patrick Mahomes' talent. That's who he is. He finds an edge. He finds that confidence. He gets everyone to believe. And then you throw in a number two defense, certainly the best defense they've ever had together. And that's why they are where they are. I mean, this is going to be a heavyweight fight. Kansas City finds a way because sometimes, in these positions, they play with a chip on their shoulder. And certainly they heard all the rhetoric last week about playing on the road. Yeah. And now they're still hearing the rhetoric about how they're the underdogs going into, Baltimore and Baltimore being favored. We actually spoke with Mahomes today, and someone mentioned kind of like the line of being like, being the underdog and 2.5 points. And I see Patrick's eyes kind of like, give a little smirk. And I said to him, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm sure you're using that as motivation. And at the end of the call, he goes, just so you know, the line's now 3.5. And he gets off. And
see, they pay
so
attention.
They pay attention, and they find every which way. And, I mean, I have no idea how this one's going to turn out, but I know it's going to be good.
How is Mahomes in person when you do like coach's call? I'm just curious. Everybody's kind of different, but I'm curious when you guys do your broadcast interviews with him. They're so different. Players are usually pretty open and relaxed. I'm just curious. I know he's used to you guys and all of that, but what is he? Yeah. What is he like personality wise?
I mean, we have a great relationship, like you said. I mean, we've covered him a million times. We've been in these situations. The thing is, there's not much to ask when you've covered them so many times. You kind of run out of things to talk about. And so, there's certainly going to be, cliches here and there, but you got to find the questions to ask where he'll open up and say those type of things. You'll get some stuff out of him. But he's always positive. He's always talking about the guys around him. And, he's going to give us whatever we ask. He's going to be open with us and certainly, but there is certainly a little bit of kind of that narrow focus. Let's not give too much away. And that comes from the Andy Reid, style as well. I mean, that's just who they are, and they're not going to leak anything. They're not going to give you certainly stuff to put on the bulletin board, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
We need that Jason Kelsey and Taylor Swift interview on the sideline. We need that.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my God. Yes, I agree. We need to do that. I actually am on my way to Baltimore now, driving down, and I was just listening to the podcast from today, and I mean, how incredible were those pictures of Jason and the video we showed and what was taking place in that suite. I mean, just adds so much to it.
So much fun.
The video of Kelsey behind her and Brittany hugging, and he's just like leaning back with no shirt on, chugging a beer.
That was awesome.
Classic.
Awesome. Credit to Mike Arnold, our director, who just finds these shots, you know, and the whole production crew has just done a tremendous job, you know, certainly all year long. But when it comes to capturing the moments and not overdoing it, but finding the right moments to show, and it's a fine line. They do such a good job.
I guarantee you they were high-fiving each other in the truck on that one. That was that was amazing. Well, hey, tell Nance hello for us, and tell him Nashville misses him, and we'll see him soon. But, hey, thanks for hopping on. Stay safe out there, and we'll be watching on Sunday.
You got it. Thanks for having me, guys.
There she is, Tracy Wolfson with CBS Sports. Should be on the sideline of the AFC Championship game. Lamar versus Mahomes for the Super Bowl. How much fun is that?
So good.
Well, my bet's going. I know.
More threes.
You're not betting against Mahomes, are you?
I might.
Uh-oh.
More 3HL next on 104.5 The Zone. Want to tell you about Xfinity Internet. You know what you want. You only buy what you need to keep you connected. Get the speed you need at a great price. Get up to 5 times faster upload speeds for a smoother connection on the largest gig speed network, Xfinity, delivering gig speeds to more homes than anyone. So get ready to do even more on your devices with gig speeds. Gig speed internet available to 99% of our footprint. Enjoy all of our favorite apps, your favorite apps, all in one place with a Flex 4K streaming box. Stay connected on the go with over 20 million secure Xfinity Wi-Fi hotspots nationwide. Xfinity Internet service, bringing you your entire experience together by connecting other services like Xfinity XFi, Advanced Security, Xfinity Flex, and more. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Actual speeds vary and are not guaranteed based on Xfinity's fastest available download speeds. Maximum download speed of 940 megabits per second when hardwired via Ethernet. Not available in all areas. Performance may be limited by customers' device configuration. 3HL 1045 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay. It's interesting. I was just thinking about the NFC game. Remember earlier in the season, everybody was saying Brock Purdy's going to be the MVP, and he, like I said, he reminds me of Joe Montana and all this. This morning on the argument shows, where they're screaming at everybody, they were like, "Is Brock Purdy the weak link?"
Yeah, that's crazy. What was that, like week 4 when he was setting everything on fire?
Life comes at you fast.
Yep. Crazy how
People
things can
hating
change.
on Brock Purdy.
And he's still being the same person he was. That's the first.
He doesn't have an arm. He's got limitations, but he plays within that system so well.
Yeah. The difference is, man, you start to get once you get to this point, now you're playing against the best of the best, and so you start weeding out. Yeah.
What did Ryan Clark say? Like something about it was hard for me all season to sit here and talk and act like Brock Purdy was a good quarterback or something. I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah, don't dog him like
that guy. I swear.
RC does have opinions, though. I like it. And he's not screaming at people.
Yeah, but I'm like, hey, if that was your opinion in the middle of the year, you should have given it then, bud.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Like
you don't get to come back and be like, it was really hard for me to fake it.
People call Stephen A. Smith Screaming A. Smith,
Yeah.
It's funny, like we see him at the Super Bowl. That's a reserved dude, like a really quiet dude. Like he dials it up for that stuff, man.
Yes,
which we all
does.
do, but not to that. I mean, that's another level.
Turn up.
By the way, who is the goofball that brought nothing but cakes here?
Oh no, man! They know people have been losing weight and watching everything that they eat, and then they lay a fresh, moist nut and bun cake in there.
It's like seriously the best cake I have ever had.
Like I'm going to go get one. So they just sold one. I'm going to go
Don
get
Davenport,
one.
who hates the word moist, came in with a bite of cake in her mouth. She goes, "This is so moist."
Yeah, everybody.
And I hate that word. That's exactly what I said, actually. It was the moistest cake I've ever had.
I like that.
I loved your question about Liam Cohen to Brian Callahan, and it ties in well with what Greg Cosell told us.
Yeah.
All of that style fits. It's that Rams system with Zach Taylor, with Liam Cohen, with Brian Callahan, and so Will Levis gets to go home again, system-wise.
I was hoping maybe we could get some insight on if Liam was a possible OC candidate there.
What's up next? His answer might tell us. What's up next?
That'd be 3HL After Party.
All right. Love y'all. Good night. God bless. Friday edition coming up. Scoreboard, Bar and Grill at Music Valley Drive.
See ya.
Wouldn't want to be ya.